it's a doozy. We got a doozy. Turn on the doozy signal. Put out the doozy alarm. Turn it on. Code DEFCON doozy. We got a doozy of a podcast.
Those doozy bots.
Yes, those doozers from Fraggle Rock. They're all up in my business. No, we have a lot. It's a big one. It's Gamescom, and apparently, I mean, we just got like the opening day of Gamescom, and Jeff Keighley was like, "Hey, do you want 3 hours worth of fucking trailers?" And I'm like, "No, Jeff. Like, I don't." And he's like, "Well, fuck you," and because that's what Jeff Keighley sounds like.
Well, Jeff Keighley just shows up and is like, "Hey, I made my own E3 with blackjack and hookers."
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then just went from there, almost literally on one of these trailers.
So, welcome back, everybody, to the Rage Select Podcast. Here on Rage Select. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
But before we get to all that, Michael, I did something last week that
Where'd
I
you hide the body?
believe will make you very happy.
Oh.
And then I was very happy, and then yesterday I turned very sad. Can you guess what I did?
You played Avengers?
No. That's not, you're not barking up the wrong tree. No, last week so on Friday nights I usually watch whatever the new fucking thing is. I watch watch the Green Knight. Green Knight is cool. I like the Green Knight. I mean, it's artsy, it's fartsy, it's not for everybody, but like whatever, it's a fucking A24. Like, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
You saw the trailer. Like, you're like, oh, it's too slow. And I'm like, bitch, come on. You knew what you hit play. But on Saturdays, I watch my animes, but I had this problem recently where there's only two. I've only got My Hero Academia, and that time I got killed and got reincarnated as a slime. And so, I've got like 2 beers in, and I want to watch more anime, but there's no more anime to watch. So last week, I decided to try for the 4th fucking time in my life to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I decided to skip up to Diamond is Unbreakable.
Oh my god.
And just because I petered out on Stardust Crusaders, the big chunky boys in Egypt, I was just fucking not having it. I was just like, I don't like this. I like their big weird hexagon shoulders, like, and they're always like in danger, but there's these big weird roughnecks driving around in jeeps and shit, whatever. And I really like Diamond is Unbreakable because it's more...
Oh, really?
Okay, so I think that, like, one, I like the fact that nobody has shoulders that don't make sense. I like the fact that it's, like, the more flamboyant it gets, the more interested I am. I like the fact the sky is always yellow and they keep just changing the color palette for no reason. And I like the dude. I like the main guy because he's
Josuke?
not... Yeah, he's a little bit more... like dynamic than Hatman with his hair hat.
He's closer to a Yakuza character than anybody else.
Yeah, and I like the ridiculous. I like the little kid, and I like how he's like half the plots are just around this like fucking 3 foot tall 8th grader or whatever, just getting into trouble.
He's very dependable.
And I was really enjoying myself right up until I realized that the anime on Crunchyroll is like all the gore is censored. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just like there's one where who's the main guy? Who's the guy from the Stardust Crusaders that's also in there? The Jotaro. He got his hand got all fucked up by this thing that happened in one episode, and like it was just like this big black silhouette of a hand, and then like there was pus shooting out of it, and I was like, is this? And then it started to occur to me that I'm like, there's been a lot of like, when there's something bad, there's just black. And then I went online and looked at it and like, yeah, the whole thing is completely censored.
Yeah.
The only way to see the uncensored version is to watch the Blu-rays. And the Blu-rays are like $50 for a third of the season or something like that.
I thought they were on Netflix now.
No, same one. Same. It's the same censored dub. Like I looked.
Maybe they're on Funimation then.
Dude, no, I looked at all of them because
Really?
I have all of them.
Okay.
I literally took my VPN to like Australia and like watched it on Netflix in Australia to see if that was it. Nope. Like the only place this shit is on the Blu-rays, and I don't want to spend the money on the Blu-rays, but on the other hand, it's like, I can see that this is going to get more and more explicit as it goes on, and I don't want to look at like blacked out like violence. I want to see the violence. I'm a 40-year-old adult. I want to see the gross because it's kind of a horror anime in a lot of ways. Like,
well, because each season is like a very specific genre, I feel.
Yeah.
Almost like the first one is this adventure, like vampire hunting thing.
Yeah.
Second one is this like Indiana Jones type adventure.
Yeah.
Third one is this weird ass road trip that just goes on forever. And the fourth one is basically Persona 4.
Yeah.
Or Persona 4 was basically this technically. But that's what it is. It's a hunt for like a serial killer
Right.
kind of thing, and that's what makes it really interesting. And then the fifth one is about, becoming a gangster
the thing
and
is
so forth and so forth.
I really want to watch them because, I actually, the Mother's Basement channel that does all the anime stuff, I watch from time to time. He made a really compelling case for the next season with the lady JoJo.
Stone Ocean.
Yeah.
Or Stone Free, right?
And then it's got like all this weird body horror, and it's in a prison, and it's fucking like Rikio, but JoJo.
It's fucking
Rikio,
crazy
and
as
I'm
shit.
just like, hey man, because I think that like again, the more flamboyant and like when this show was called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I started watching it, and I'm just like, this fucking guy and a vampire, and he breathes, and then he punches the vampire, and then like now I'm in this one, and it's like people's faces are turning into comic books. There's that episode with the Italian restaurant that is amazing.
That episode's amazing,
like,
guys.
it's so good. The stands have become ridiculous, and like just the whole thing is fun. And this is more of what I thought I was going to get when I watched a show called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as opposed to like a bunch of grim stone-faced dudes driving across like Eastern Europe, and none of them seem to understand that everything is a trap, and they just kind of do.
That's kind of what's great about the third one is everyone's kind of dumb about it.
Yeah.
Like Joseph gets into a lot of dumb shit because of the fact that he's like, ooh, what's this? And then pokes at it.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Whereas like the one I was talking about with the hand silhouette, it's like he's like this really accomplished hunter for some reason. Like he just spent all his time.
JoJo's been up to a lot lot of shit since the third one.
You know, so I really like it. It's just that the problem I'm running into now is I don't know if I want to continue watching the censored versions. I actually need somebody to tell me how bad the censorship is in the next season, because I heard it wasn't bad, but that this one is bad. Oh, and then like
it varies apparently.
And then when I was looking around, I found articles from the past that apparently in the third season or whatever, like any time that Jotaro is smoking, they just put this big black splotch over the bottom of his face.
I was going to tell you about that. Yeah,
because he's underage and
he's like 16 or 17 and he smokes all the time. And so yeah, it's just this big.
He's a delinquent.
At first, I thought it was like a shadow from like him standing somewhere, but then there's
just kept
sequences
happening
where he's clearly under the sun or something.
Yeah.
And his face is just black, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might have to resort to extracurricular means to.
Well, that's what I did for the first 3 seasons. I actually have the first 3 in that Blu-ray thing, because not only did they uncensor it, they fixed a bunch of the animation. Because it's another one of those things where they push the anime out real fast,
right?
But there's a lot of like animation errors.
Yeah.
So when the Blu-ray comes out, not only do they uncensor it, but they fix a bunch of it.
Yeah.
And then they put it out.
Well, no, because there's a whole website that's devoted to just doing like those little like drag the thing back and forth, and it's like a lot of
some of them are night and day.
Yeah, a lot of the changes are just like, hey, they didn't put any shading on this dude's hands in this scene, and now they did, and it's like, well, so in addition to not having all of the cool gore that I want to see blacked out, I can also see the better versions, but I do not want to pay $150 to watch a fucking anime, not with the amount of money that I spent on games and Crunchyroll and everything else in the world.
I don't know how much Funimation's put out on Blu-ray here in America yet.
Yeah, I need to double check the Funimation. I'm pretty sure though I checked it, but the other thing is
they have those on Blu-ray.
I realized that the other thing about JoJo's that put me off, I think, during the Stardust Crusaders, and it would suddenly become very clear in Diamond is Unbreakable, is that they don't have the what the fuck is it called? There's a specific name for it, and it's like when the action goes crazy and they put all the money into like the 3-minute fight scene where it's like the camera move and the person's jumping up, and then they're like, you know what I'm talking about, like when My Hero Academia, when they have like a big action thing, and
I don't know what I would call it is the thing. Yeah,
it has a specific name. Like there's a thing that the internet anime nerds refer to it as, and I was like, oh, but this doesn't have any of that. There's no such thing as a big fight in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's all just like close-ups of people's faces while they figure out what to do, and then they just do one thing that isn't really that dramatic, and then they win. And it's like, oh, okay. And I think that put me off a little bit because I'm so used to watching all these shonen animes that have these like, God, a high school is beautiful at MHA, and all of them, they all have these like really, really interesting and bombastic fight scenes, and JoJo's just doesn't have that. It's more about these kind of characters just like talking to each other. But Stardust Crusaders does that, or Diamonds Unbreakable does that better because, whenever there's something dramatic, it's like they shift the entire color palette into reverso.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's a little bit more interesting to look at than just like close up number 600 on one guy's face.
By the way,
there's I think I'm about a third of the way through. The one I left off on is there's a guy and he's collecting a lot of coins. That should not be spoilery
okay,
enough.
I know which part you're on then.
We've gone to the second title sequence. So
okay, cool.
But yeah, they've definitely set up for like, oh, there's a murder guy. This is going to probably be where we're going to go for a little while. But
murder guy is great for very different reasons.
But again, if we're going to a serial killer, I don't want to watch the censored version.
No, that's fair. Yeah, because that's the tricky thing about watching JoJo's. Because you have to deal with the fact that Japan, for some reason, likes censoring JoJo specifically. But
it's never been. I've watched the most gory, and I've watched Hellsing Ultimate, and like people's. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen had all this body horror of people turning into these curses and horrible things happening to people. And then I'm watching this one show, and I can't believe that I'd never heard before that this was a problem, because it's never been a problem.
I feel like you might have, because I know you watched some of the original chunk of it.
Yeah,
you just never noticed it.
Probably
because
not.
the censoring still happened in them, but not they weren't as much like in the first part. When Jonathan fights that dude with snakes on his face, they censor that guy because you don't know he has snakes on his face because they censored all the snakes from his face.
That was so long ago.
Like he gets attacked and at one point he's like, he's been poisoned, but like in the censored one you're like, but how though?
By
like,
what?
Yeah, like because it sort of just like cuts to like he's poisoned. It's like what why? When you watch the original one, it's like snakes for fucking days on this dude's face, and you just sort of have to deal with it.
Yeah. I started to suspect in the Italian restaurant episode because of the things that were happening there and how much they were focusing on them. And I'm like, but I can obviously see the outline of internal organs, but you're not showing me internal. Did he not draw the internal? Is this a style thing? And then,
that episode has one of my favorite things ever, which is that I'm gonna hit that spaghetti. I'm gonna punch that spaghetti.
Yes.
Because in every JoJo character has a specific pose they're known for.
Yeah.
And Josuke's for some reason is from when he punches the fucking spaghetti.
Yeah.
Which cracks me up every fucking time.
It's so great. For anybody who doesn't know, this guy has this power where when he hits stuff, he can like heal it, so he punches this plate of spaghetti to revert it back into its individual components to see what they are, and it's just like, that's a bizarre adventure right there, right? Anyway,
it gets even crazier as parts continue from there.
I'm gonna see what I can do. I may just have to go into watching the censored versions. It's not that bad. It's just like
I get it, to be honest. I watched it that way. I watched that way when it came out, so
yeah.
You find yourself getting past it if you really like its story enough.
Yeah. What have you been up to last week, Mike? Anything worth noting before we jump into this?
I played Avengers.
Right, nothing worth noting. Let's
the War for Wakanda stuff. Well, because it came out, and
was it good?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like I thought they patched out the Dark Circles issue.
Oh,
but no,
the big black balls are still there
everywhere. I think I figured out what it's from. It's from the vibranium stuff. Because Captain America started doing it.
Okay.
And I was just like, fuck. At one point, I saw a screenshot on Reddit where the dude's like screen was covered in them because he just kept doing it so much.
Wow.
So they're looking into that apparently. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. Like I liked what I did. Honestly, if the game was what it was now when it came out, it wouldn't have as much, like critics, I think.
Like negative reputation.
Yeah, because now I think it's worth its amount because now it has this long story from, the beginning of the story mode to the end of the Wakanda thing.
Because in between you also have the Hawkeye stuff from Future Imperfect,
yeah, exactly.
and then into War for Wakanda. How long? The War for Wakanda is 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 4 to 6 hours at most, and that's if you do everything
right
with it. And even then, it's fine. Like I thought, and it had I thought the boss fight on it was really cool, for the most part. But other than that, yeah, I finished that real quick. I bought a new phone.
Okay.
That's the other new thing I did.
Cool.
Other than that, I can't. Oh, I watched the new What Ifs.
Oh,
because the What If is still going on right now.
I'm very tired of the Marvel stuff, so I haven't even done that yet.
Well, the last What If was kind of weird because it's just like, what is this What If essentially? And it's a little more violent than I anticipated, or not even violent. It's just like the amount of people who die in it is just kind of random.
Okay.
Is what it feels like.
Is it Marvel Zombies?
No, it's
not that violent.
Well, it's not that violent at the thing. Like, because what it is, it's just like it's a what if the Avengers never like happened,
okay,
kind of thing. But but the way it happens is what's weird about it.
Okay,
and I don't want to say it because it's just it's the crux of the actual ending of the episode.
Sure,
but it's like treated like a mystery. Like, how are these guys dying? Like, you can guess on what it is, but like the way it happens is just really weird. The second one I liked a lot because that one was the last thing Chadwick Boseman did.
That was the one where he's Star-Lord, right?
Yeah, the one where T'Challa went to space instead of Chris Pratt, which I thought was that one was actually really interesting. And it was a little tearful because that was the last thing the guy had got to do with that character.
Cool.
And it had an ending that I also was curious if they will do anything with, but who knows. But yeah, each one sort of ends in a way that I'm like, I wish I would know what happens after that. But a lot of what ifs, even in comics, did that. So
shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michael. I've blattered on about JoJo's for so long. There was a whole fucking Spider-Man trailer that we should have been talking about this whole time.
Yeah.
But we don't have time to talk about Spider-Man trailers.
I was going to bring that up, but I was like, I don't think we have time for that.
I don't think we have time. We got to get to it. There's a huge bunch.
On No More Heroes.
Yeah. We'll talk about it some other place. Or maybe part 2 or the second half we get the time. Anyways. Big Gamescom, big announcements. I think we're going to do the kind of abbreviated, like some of these are just going to be a shrug because there's not a lot to say about them.
That's true.
The big thing is Saints Row is back.
Yes.
We got the big trailer for the big Saints Row, and everybody's mad, or I don't know, some people are mad. I couldn't care less about, like, oh no, did they fuck up Saints Row? Yeah, it was called Get Out of Hell. Do you remember that? Oh, you remember Agents of Mayhem? That was them fucking up Saints Row. And everybody's like, no, it was a perfect, beautiful franchise before now. It's like
everything after 4 is really where it just stopped being interesting.
Yeah. So we got a trailer. I'd like to address right off the bat, I do not understand the whole Fortnite thing where people are just like, it looks like Fortnite. And I'm like, I think that what's happening here is that Fortnite has kind of relatively generic characters, and like these are relatively generic character models. And so they're just like, a person. That's what Fortnite looks like. Because Fortnite doesn't exactly have like its own specifically bombastic art style. It's just kind of generically doing stuff.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't really know what they mean by it. Like, I'm looking at it still again, and I still don't know why you would think it looks like Fortnite right away.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This is rebooting Saints Row, basically. They're going back to being a little bit more serious. It's kind of the boss and then characters from the 3 different gangs. It's going to be another one of these, like, you got to take down the gangs one at a time. More Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3 than Saints Row 4 or Get Out of Hell or any of that
it's,
stuff.
It's closer to the 1 and 2 when it comes to the seriousness of it.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's trying to do some of the charm from the 3rd one.
Yeah. It's just it's not doing that hyper wacky, just like Burt Reynolds is the mayor. There's a Metal Gear quest. We got the fight from They Live, and then you ride a Velociraptor, and it's like, yeah, this franchise didn't used to be that. Like there was goofiness in 2. There was the spraying the poop cannon on people's houses and stuff like that. But Saints Row ratcheted up the craziness, and I don't know, the last time they tried to go completely insane, it was a rock opera in hell with Johnny Gat, and I didn't like it. So
I still remember every time a new Saints Row after the 3rd one came out, I would read the comments and people going, I wish it went back to 1 and 2.
Right.
Like, that happened a lot. Like, I saw a lot of comments like that. So those guys are probably happy right about now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it looks fine. I mean, the thing is that without... Maybe it's time to hang up my podcasting credentials, but I'm just not that mad about whether or not Saints Row is any good. This could be bad, and if it is, I don't care. Like, this show had 1 billion... There's a fucking Marvel XCOM game, for God's sake. Like, I guess if you just are into crime heist Saints Row and you love it so much, then, like, I can see maybe. But I'm just tired of being mad about the pop culture thing isn't the thing that I wanted. Like, I don't know. I'm just exhausted.
It just comes down to the fact that, like, hey, it's a cinematic trailer, so I don't even know what the game's like.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be upset if the game turns out to be a fucking, like, turn-based RPG or something. And, like, that involves, like, fucking just the worst mechanics or something, but right now I don't care. I don't have enough information to care one way or the other.
Yeah,
yet.
I'd like to see a mission. I'd like to see a mission get played through to see how are the mechanics, how's the dialogue. Like, I think it's not like, I've read some stuff that says that it's not going to be as slapsticky, as memey as like the third and fourth one were. Like, they're reeling it in a little bit.
Yeah,
but I don't have a problem with that. Like, the question comes down to me is not necessarily, is it Saints Row 4? It's just like, is it fun? Like, is it fun to play? Are the characters enjoyable? I've seen so many people wailing and lamenting, like, oh, what, Shondi's not here? And I'm just like, what? What? Shondi? The weed smoker that turns into the weird assassin between 3 and 4 for some reason? And, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Saints Row 4, but I'm just not that invested to be like, I don't know. It just seems so weird to me, this horrible outcry of wailing and gnashing of teeth about whether the Saints Row game is the thing.
I'm sure it'll be fine, but I don't know. I still have. It's not like they burned down 3 and 4's stuff, so you're fine.
You play.
Like, they just remastered 3 not that long ago. So,
and I don't know if it's still going to be at the time of this recording, but it's actually free on the Epic Game Store right now. You can just go fucking cash in Saints Row the 3rd remastered and play it. So
good for them.
Midnight Suns, though, I'm all about it. I don't know. I don't even know what this is, but like, Firaxis is making a Marvel game, and it's all the fucking Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider and Blade and shit, and like, hells yeah, man.
Yeah, because the Midnight Suns have always been like the mystical teams, essentially.
The Dark Avengers.
Yeah, kind of. Like, it's like usually involves Blade and Ghost Rider and
Moon Knight
and stuff. Sometimes the Punisher's there for reasons.
Morbius.
Kind of thing. But like,
Mobius?
They just
Morbius.
It's Morbius. Morbius is the musician, right?
Mobius is the artist. That draws.
Who am I
don't
thinking
know.
of that. Either way,
Moby. You're thinking of Moby.
I'm thinking of Moby. Yeah, whole thing. But there's an old Twisted Toy Fair theater that makes fun of that. But they're going for that sort of idea, and except that they also have added,
Wolverine,
some of the popular characters like Wolverine and Captain America and Iron Man and
Captain Marvel,
Marvel.
Spider-Man's. Oh, Magic is in there. I really had to appreciate that they used Magic's old dumb outfit, like the whole fucking New Mutants black and yellow with the dumb head shit outfit. Like,
what is the name of the one with the 2 swords? I know you know the name of her.
Oh, I don't know.
She's the one that was in Ultimate Alliance 3 that you wouldn't stop talking about. No,
that's somebody else.
Is it not the same person?
No, yeah. Magic was a New Mutant. She's Rasputin's sister, or
I'm talking about this character.
Sister. What's that?
I'm talking about the character that's like seems to be the main crux of the trailer.
It's not the same. That's not the person.
The one with the 2 swords?
No, that's not the. No, yeah, the main character is an OC. Like,
really?
It's not.
I thought they were Ileana or whatever her name was.
No. And Ileana Rasputin Magic is the lady in there was like Lady Death, not Lady Deathstrike, but she was like Lady Wolfsbane or like
something like that. I thought that's who it was.
She was from Agents of Hate, and like Magic is from the New Mutants. So
that I knew, but I thought this character was that same person. But
I don't believe so. But anyway, they didn't show anything. They didn't show any actual gameplay. It was just a cinematic. But like, goddamn, do I want to play it?
I watched some of the interview with one of the developers after the fact, and he was talking about how you really wanted to like have interactions between these characters. He was like, yeah, once you're done with the mission, you can be like, who do you want to hang out with who, kind of thing. So it's got that going for it.
Who's
apparently.
this?
I think that's...
Oh, is that Magic?
I think that's Magic.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's Magic.
She's wearing some weird outfit.
She looks like fucking Kate Blanchett, Hella a little bit, with the little weird head.
Her helmet reminds me more of Steppenwolf.
Oh, I can see that. I like how goofy. I like the fact that they're using the new goofy Ghost Rider and not the old Ghost Rider.
I'm cool with that.
New Ghost Rider looks like a weird futuristic anime guy.
I appreciate that. Like, I feel like Wolverine's kind of just here.
Yeah,
which kind of makes me crack up. But I don't know. I'm sure it's fine.
I'm interested. I want to know. They're going to show more like in a week or something like that.
September 1st, I think.
September 1st.
They want to show the gameplay from then.
Okay, so next week. This week. Time is a mystery.
Time is a construct.
We saw Call of Duty Stalingrad playthrough. This is just more Call of Duty. Like,
it looks fine, to be honest.
There's a lot of stealth. There's a lot of climbing. There's a lot more climbing than I remember in previous Call of Duties. But it's like this is this kind of sneaky level. But this level, Call of Duties a lot of times have a sneaky level, and so this level is trying to sneak through Stalingrad with this lady.
It looks really nice, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, the graphics are amazing. It's just like last week I talked about this with Tessa because they officially announced it. It was just like, it's fucking World War II Call of Duty, man. Like, I just can't give less of a shit. Yeah. Well, it's only been, 2 years since Call of Duty World War II?
I forgot
it was Black Ops, and then before Black Ops, it was Call of Duty World War II? Or
I'm cool with it, to be honest, because we got too many weird-ass ones after a while.
Yeah, I don't know. No. I say no. I want Call of Duty.
Nay.
I want Call of Duty Infinite Warfare 2 because I'm the guy who liked Infinite Warfare, where Jon Snow was driving around in a spaceship and you'd fucking throw a bunch of nanomachines. You know, like those airplane levels where you had to fly the space fighter and like attack the mothership. And I fucking thought that shit was great.
This game is real, by the way, people.
There was a whole level where you'd like jump between the outside Dead Space 2 style between ships. I loved it, man. Everybody got so mad after that trailer, and then they just kind of pooped it out, and they were just like, they're just making you buy it so you can get Call of Duty remastered or Modern Warfare remastered. And I liked that game. Like, I think everybody got too mad at that game.
That wasn't the Kevin Spacey one, right?
No, that was
after it, right?
That was Advanced Warfare. Yeah, that came after. I think it was Advanced Warfare and then Ghosts, with the South American brain control.
Everyone hated that one.
Drugs, and then Infinite Warfare, and then Black Ops 3, and then World War II, and then this one. Black Ops 3, World War II, Black Ops, and then Vanguard.
Oh, that's right. That one was just called Black Ops. I forgot about that.
Wait.
Or was it 4?
Nope. Before Black Ops was the Modern Warfare reboot. Remember?
That's right. I forgot that happened.
Yep. trying to remember all the Call of Duties. That's like a good party trick. Like, they should do that when cops pull you over. They should just be like, name all the Call of Duties in reverse order, and you're like, oh fuck, okay, all right. What came before Black Ops? Was it World of War? Was it Officer, please. Was it World of War? I need to know.
It's like that meme where it's the Arnold Schwarzenegger flexing his arm, except it's like The Legend of Zelda and Call of Duty, where you can't figure out which one came out first.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I don't know. I'm thoroughly uninterested in this game. I might skip Call of Duty this year. It doesn't look bad, but
I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Halo Infinite. Halo we got a lot of Halo love for you.
Yes.
So we started off with this cinematic trailer that was kind of putting together this thing about this lady that gets like rescued by a bunch of Spartans, and then it's like later in the future she's like the new Spartan commander or whatever.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be about the multiplayer, about like, hey, you become a Spartan kind of thing is mostly what it's about, but like trying to be all motivational about it kind of thing.
How did this do for you? I don't really have much to say about.
I thought it was neat, but it just still comes down to the fact that I'm just like, I was hoping for an actual story trailer.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that's what this was, but then it was just like, become a Spartan, I guess. I'm like, okay, cool.
I will say, though, man, I really liked the... it's not on this one. I really liked the controller.
Oh, yeah,
the Master Chief controller.
I think the controller was the coolest thing that they announced, because I'm not even a fan of the console design.
Yeah.
For the limited edition one, which sold out apparently within seconds.
Sure,
or not
obviously
within seconds, but it's still. I was laughing because one of the people who was presenting, I guess, during the Xbox thing, wanted it, but he was presenting as they put up pre-orders. He's like, "You bastards!"
and he couldn't get it.
Yeah, he was super upset.
This controller though is hot. I mean, the only problem is that it's an Elite controller, right? Yeah. So it's going to be like $150 or something like that.
I'll consider it if I, really start using my Xbox.
I really like that. I like that they put the little port, like where he puts Cortana, is on the back of the controller, and it's like it's very subtle. Like the D-pad is just the visor color.
Yeah.
It's a nice controller. Like it looks like a good controller.
Got the 117 on it.
Yeah. It's like a nice controller. that doesn't necessarily like you have to know that it's Halo.
Yeah.
You could very much just be like, oh, that's a nifty pattern on that controller.
I actually am considering getting that controller, to be honest, but
It's got a cool case.
I don't use my Xbox as much as I used to.
Well,
At least not yet, because Halo's supposed to come out soon.
Yeah. And then, as you said, there was there's a Halo Xbox that I think looks kind of like garbage. It's kind
like
of
$550, I think, is what its price is.
Okay. I mean, I don't like the stars on it, and like the weird panels don't evoke anything. They're just like, look, panels. Like,
well, they're supposed to be like his armor because you can tell like his visor's on the front or on the top. But the issue is that since there's no like
green
top part of it,
oh yeah,
you don't know that it's supposed to be like the helmet and it like reflecting the stars from the helmet or something.
Okay.
But even then, it's just like, but it looks weird.
Yeah.
because you don't know what it's supposed to be.
It just looks, I don't know, I think it looks silly.
Even its controller that comes with it, I'm like, it's not as impressive to me as the other one is.
Yeah. Oh, also, they got a release date, right?
Yes, December 8th for the actual game itself.
Halo Infinite is actually coming out.
But the weird announcement part of it is that co-op campaign will not be with it in the beginning.
Yeah,
which is fucking strange.
That is really weird. It was like that and one other thing is coming later. Forge. Yeah. That it's launching without those two. We got a Street Fighter 5 situation on our hands where they're just trying to like that we said we would get it out this year. We're going to get it out this year. Just cut everything that we can't finish this year and get it out the fucking door.
We'll update it with it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
It worked for Avengers, they said.
Are you excited about Halo?
I am.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm such a big fan of Halo in general, and now that I have an Xbox, I know at least like 3 people who keep asking me, "Hey, do you want to play Halo?" But the only reason I haven't is because I haven't found time to play Halo with them.
Do you think that they've made? Do you think that the story is significantly changed from that trailer that everybody was mad at?
I don't know,
because I don't think they've had enough time to really like redo the whole thing or
they
whatever.
Haven't really shown much on it, to be honest. Because 5 had a terrible story.
Yeah,
and like all the interesting stuff got sidelined by fucking Spartan Locke and
the hunt for Master Chief.
Yeah, like it's like
Cortana's crazy.
It's like, I don't give a fuck about you. I care about Buck, so like that's cool when he's on screen. But fuck, like I don't care about Locke because Locke was not even played by the guy. They used the likeness of the guy who played Luke Cage in the Netflix show.
Okay,
but he couldn't voice him because he was doing fucking Luke Cage on the Netflix show. Okay. So now that what if you go back and play 5 and you've watched Luke Cage, it's just super jarring.
Yeah,
because you see this guy's face and you're like, I know that's not his fucking voice. And the story itself, like I said, just isn't all that interesting. And the way it ends, it's like, what do you do from there? And I still don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I don't even know. Like, people are trying to figure out if this is a reboot or an actual sequel to 5 still. No one really knows what the fuck's going on, to be honest.
I can't keep up. I both cannot keep up, and I can't keep up because I don't care about the actual story of Halo. It's never grabbed me enough to really get into. So,
well, there's like 5. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go on that rant because I haven't read all those books.
From there, we got Cult of the Lamb, which is a new Devolver Digital thing that was pretty fun looking. It was like a little like lamb that gets possessed by this kind of evil demon and then like creates a cult. And it's kind of like a top-down action RPG. I'm not really the biggest fan in the world of this kind of isometric 2D flat kind of don't starve style of art, but they do have a Midsummer house, so like there's always that.
I think the art is what is supposed to like be what's the word I'm looking for? Disarming? Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be like, cutesy.
Oh, look how cute it is. And then there's like murder and vomit and demons. Yeah.
I think that's what they were going for. So I'm cool with it on this one at least.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Devolver Digital, so I'm going to download it and play it and be all like, fucking Devolver Digital's the best and their dick tastes so good. But, On the other hand, I do not have to put on any airs to talk about how much I loved Midnight Fight Express, which was briefly teased in an indie. We're going in the reverse order here, because it was briefly teased in the Xbox thing that they did before. But I fucking think this game looks hot. It looks like Hotline Miami, but 3D isometric as opposed to top down. It seems like it's very like you kind of doing these action moves, but then there's like, I don't know, there's guns and like, oh, I've got a rope like scorpion. And there's one point where the character seems to be a robot. There's one point that's on a plane. There's one point where it's like literally the Hotline Miami people, like the masks from Hotline Miami. There's that joke at the end, that Modern Warfare 2 joke, where it's like the guys in the elevator say no Russian, and then just like some dude with no shirt and one of those plastic horse heads from the internet walks in, and you just see him fucking kicking the shit out of people. There's a point where they're fighting with pillows. They're having a pillow fight. There's a part on a speedboat. There's so much in this trailer, and I want to play this game immediately. I love this shit.
I really want to play this game. It's just, it looks like pure batshit insanity.
Yep.
And I'm excited.
I am too. I'm super excited. I can't wait. And this is probably one of the most exciting things that I saw. That is until I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is adding yet another playable character. And it's April O'Neil.
Oh yeah,
and she's kicking people's ass. And I don't know, Michael.
Being hot as hell.
Do people have a problem with this? I don't have a problem with this.
I don't know anyone who would have a problem with this. Like, April O'Neil is a very beloved character in Ninja Turtles, especially when she looks like her 80s version. Yeah. With her weird yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Even though she's a reporter, so why does she have a yellow jumpsuit? But sure.
Like a really bad look, but sure.
Plus she has an attack where she like launches at people with her ass, so I'm sure people are excited about that.
Yeah. I like the one where she drops the mic at the end of a combo.
There's like, it shows more mechanics too that I think is really cool. Yeah. Plus she kind of attacks like Chun-Li sometimes, which I think is kind of neat.
But, she also has that spinning, like with the camera on the end of a pole. Oh yeah, it reminds me a lot of Scott Pilgrim of the hammer attack that Ramona had in Scott Pilgrim.
People are pretty sure they're going to add like maybe some more characters because of the way the design is on the.
I was saying that before. I'd be willing to bet actual money that Casey Jones is on the other side of.
There's no way it's not Casey Jones.
At least, at the very least.
I'd be shocked if Casey Jones was not the other fucking character.
Yeah. But yeah, this game, I can't wait, man. This is fucking
no release date though.
No part of this has ever been like, in fact, there's this boss fight part with what was it, like the Rat King, and Krang's head is there, and I don't know. I'm just all over it, man. Just give it to me. Put it in my face.
I'm excited as hell. Like, I've been wanting a normal Ninja Turtles beat 'em up again for a very long time.
I mean, between like your love of Ninja Turtles and your love of beat 'em ups, it's just like. There you go.
Just super fucking excited.
I feel like the video game industry is very kind to you, Michael.
They are.
I feel like the video game industry just keeps giving you specifically thing after thing after thing. And meanwhile, I'm just over here like, another... They're making another Dark Souls, and just Kerbal Space Program's all fucked up, and there's not going to be another Hitman game until they get to...
The world loves me.
Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is going to have Morgana from Persona 5 in it. That's it. The end.
He'll stop you from going to sleep.
What?
Or no, he'll stop you from staying awake is the thing.
The monkey?
You remember that from Morgana? Every time you're like, I want to stay up and make a thing. He's like, no.
Oh, right.
It's like, but I wanted to return this thing. No, you don't.
We got the Season 0 trailer for Splitgate, which is a multiplayer arena portal shooter that we did not play because I looked it up, and you and I played a stream one time where we played a multiplayer online.
Is it not the same game?
It is not this game, or I don't know if they renamed it, but like I looked it up and it was like a slightly different title. Maybe I just got it wrong, but I wouldn't
be surprised if they changed it, to be honest.
Because it looks exactly like what we played, but
I'm pretty sure it's the same because there's a Penny Arcade comic that made fun of this, where they're just like, he's like, yeah, I was doing really well until everybody learned about these portals. It's like, is there a version of this game that doesn't exist or that exists without the portals? And Gabe just goes, yeah, it's called Halo, because that was the joke we made.
Oh, weird. I named it wrong. Okay, we did play this, but I named it Splitstream, but the actual logo that's on the thumbnail says Splitgate. Here, I'm going to change that while we're
That's the thing, though, is because like when we played this, we were like, there's no way this is going to be a thing. It's just Halo and portals. This is stupid.
Yep.
I remember thinking that the whole time, and then I saw this trailer, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a fucking thing still.
Yep.
People really liked it, apparently.
You could download it for free on the Xbox.
Yeah.
In fact, you can download it free everywhere because they're doing that whole like here's the microtransactions for the weird cosmetics thing. So
maybe I'll try it again now that it's on a console.
Yeah,
because that was the issue I had. Was I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You don't want to play that on the PC. That's all those PC motherfuckers. You don't want to do that.
So maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know. It's still just Halo with portals, but I don't know if I have the thought process for that still.
What if every time you go through one, you yell portals like Jason from The Good Place?
Only if you had a Molotov at the same time.
Maybe that's your move, is when you throw a grenade through a portal, you yell portals. Riders Republic is still a thing. The weird cover of Gangster's Paradise, which I think is the only thing that people remember from this.
Shit, we didn't even bring up that fucking Enter the Sandman cover on Midnight Suns.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
People, it's always funny when a game or a movie does that, where they're like, let's put a cover of this song and just make it really weird.
Fucking Gears of War did it that one time, and then everybody had to do it forever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, we're edgy. Art. #art. Riders Republic, I think at E3 I finally understood why Riders Republic, but I still don't give a shit. But there's an open beta right now, so if you want to go play the open beta,
I'm sure people will like it.
You can go play it. UFL World Premier soccer game. There's a soccer game. I don't care. I don't know anything about soccer. And
I'm cool.
That's not Ted Lasso. If it's a Ted Lasso game, I would play it. If I could be Roy Kent and do that, then I would do it. But other than that, I don't care.
They need to remake Mega Man Soccer.
Sure. I'd play that. I'd play
the hell of
that. Star Wars Skywalker Saga got a release date spring of 2022 and another gameplay trailer. This is gonna be a nah for me, dog. I don't like the Lego games because it's like, hey, do you want to play your favorite franchises, but they look like shit? And it's like, no.
I liked it better when they didn't talk, because they had to get really creative with how they did things.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first version of the Empire Strikes Back one where they didn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader, to say I'm your father, pulls out a picture of him and Padme pregnant, and he points at it, and he points at him, and he's just like, what?
Yeah.
They were really creative with it.
Well, this is the one where they started doing that thing where they're using the dialogue from the movies, but then like making jokes on top of it, right?
No, this one I think they actually like have people voicing over it.
Oh, okay.
But the first time they started doing the voices was what you were saying.
Okay.
They did that with Lord of the Rings, and they did that with one of the Star Wars games.
Huh.
But now they actually have somebody voicing them now.
Okay. Cool. If you want to play 9 fucking Star Wars Lego games in a row, go with God, be my guest. I have absolutely no interest in that sentence that I just said.
It was supposed to come out a while back too, wasn't it?
I think so. I think it was just a matter of getting the... Well, I guess if the original ones didn't have dialogue, then they had to go back and remaster all those and kind of getting them into one cohesive package, as opposed to doing that thing where you just like tack an old game onto a new game onto like Mafia style, where it's like, you know... there was this one called Synced Off Planet. It's like some kind of sci-fi shooter, real moody. It's a real big Outriders energy. I don't really understand what's going on. Yeah. It's like some kind of nanobots, and we're like taking over the nanobots and fighting the nanobots with other nanobots. Show me some gameplay. This is just a big robot apocalypse, so.
I'm sure. Like, that's the thing, is a lot of these are cinematic trailers.
Yeah.
And that's the tough thing, is to, like, people expect you to judge them based on that. It's like, I don't ever see that happening anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Outlast Trials, I actually thought looked pretty good. This is the one that's like, it's like a multiplayer Outlast where you and people are like in this Cold War Russian like experimentation facility trying to escape murderers, apparently. Okay. I don't know what they're researching at this facility, if they're researching serial killers, and they're just like, okay, let's see if you guys don't die. I don't know what the point is of it, but I like the monsters. As long as I can play it by myself and I don't have to play it with other people, because the last thing I want to do is have to rely on other people in a horror game. I mean, I don't know. Horror is... I find horror to be better when it's a solitary experience as opposed to playing multiplayer.
I get that, actually. Like, it varies on what the type of game it is.
Yeah.
If it's like objective based, then it's kind of annoying, because then it's just like, just do the thing.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Get on the payload.
Yeah. Whereas like if it's a co-op like almost Resident Evil story, I'm cool with that, because then it's just straightforward.
Yep. But I like all the Outlast iconography that we got going on here. So I don't know. Pretty cool. Let's see. Michael, what did you think of Dokev?
I don't fucking know, to be honest. Every time I thought I knew what type of game it was, it did something fucking else, and I'm like, what the fuck is this fucking thing? Even the way it ends is abrupt. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So, okay, how to describe this? It appears that Dokev is like these very realistic city maps, like these very realistic open world maps, but then these little anime baby kids they've got like Pokemon. They're like throwing out Pokemon to fight people, but then they're also using like
guns,
hang gliders, and giant like a hippity hop and like a big cartoon hammer, and sprinkles comes out of it, and this trailer goes on for 4 minutes, and by the time you get to the end, you're just like, I don't even know what a video game is anymore.
That's the thing. Every time it shows you something new, you're like, what the fuck is this fucking game? What is the point? Like, what is the actual thing you're doing? It's just
everything.
You're
doing everything.
It's just goddamn. It goes on forever with new things to the point you're like, there's no fucking way this game makes any goddamn sense.
It's some kind of MMO, and I think it's some kind of MMO that's doing a Pokemon thing, and then also some kind of team battling. I don't even know. I don't know either. I have no idea.
Also,
what the
every
hell.
time it zooms in on one of the kids' face, it freaks me out because they look like a baby's face on top of a normal kid's body,
like anime babies. It's like they've got like normal skin, but then their face is just an anime baby face, and it looks really weird because everything else looks very realistic, and then they zoom in and it's like, oh god, no.
It's what freaks me out the most because it's like you're like, your brain's telling you there's something not right with this picture.
Yeah.
And just I still don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's very weird. It's very strange. I don't. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it when it comes out. I don't know.
Of course.
I mean, obviously,
there's like gliding and web swinging or something. I don't know. The fucking thing is batshit insane.
It's very weird. Also, it's 4 minutes. Just don't make any trailer 4 minutes long. Good God. Jet skis.
It's like every time you leave it alone, more shit gets added, and you're like, God damn you.
Yeah, and it's like, and then there's a bunch of particles, and everything's a rainbow, and there's a fucking, there's a bear, there's a rat, this is a panda bear with boxing gloves on. I don't know what the fuck is going on. There's an alarm clock head. Is it Pokemon? Is it not Pokemon? I don't understand.
I really don't know.
You know, the last time I was this confused was, you remember that trailer at E3 that like started out as Pokemon, and then it's like the Pokemon were working in a factory making automatic weapons, and they were sad and shit. Like,
yeah, that thing was bad. Oh my god, it might be another game like that, to be honest.
I don't even know what that game is.
I don't know either, because they actually use the machine guns.
Yeah. Anyway, I do know what Jurassic World Evolution 2 is, sort of. It looks,
life finds a way, I guess.
Yep. I think that the difference here, I was talking to Matt about this, and I think that the difference between this one and the first one is that in the first one, you kind of had a pre-made park that you could then edit and upgrade. Yeah. And this one appears to just be like starting from ground zero, from nothing, like building everything by hand, one paddock at a time, and capturing I was going to say Pokemon, but they're dinosaurs, not Pokemon.
Get them, Squirtle.
I don't know. Looks good. I mean, it looks just like the first one, right? Like,
yeah, if you like the first one and those types of tycoonish builders,
you'll
like this game.
Probably so.
I'm sure it has Jeff Goldblum again, like the last one did.
And it's coming out November 9th.
That's pretty soon.
So, Far Cry 6, new trailer. That was it. It's just fucking lots of swearing and blowing stuff up, and
it's more like the motivation for the main character,
Giancarlo. Oh no, I know what I wanted to say about this. So Giancarlo Esposito, he has this young ward, and that ward's name is Danny Rojas, and I don't know. Have you watched Ted Lasso?
No, I've not.
So halfway through the first season of Ted Lasso, there's this dude that comes in that's like this Latinx guy named Danny Rojas, and all he does is like scream his own name, and he's like super ebullient, and all he does is he's like, Danny Rojas, and he says, football is life, and he just says that over and over again, and that's just like all he ever does. And so they're like, yes, this is my young ward, Danny Rojas, and I'm like, oh no, is that a young Danny Rojas? Is that why?
That's why he has to say that to keep away the PTSD.
That's right. Anyway, Far Cry 6 is coming out in like a week. So
that's actually I'm actually very interested in it because the main character talks.
Yep.
And I think that's cool.
Yep. Blood Hunt is that battle royale Vampire the Masquerade thing. It's fine.
Generic. It's fine.
It's whatever. Just a bunch of dudes running around,
machine guns and stuff,
and they're vampires. I don't even really like vampires. Part Beyond, though, I really like the look of this one, though. This is a help me out here, Michael. It's a roller coaster tycoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's made by the Tropico people. But the whole thing about it is that did you watch this one? The rides that you're making are like, they're not real rides. Like, they could never exist in the real world. Like, the first one that you make,
they're just kind of like adventurously insane.
Yeah, is like a giant cannon that shoots the like car out of it that you're on, and it has wings, and then it like lands on a track, and like a carousel that goes up. There's like this Ferris wheel. It's like a billion Ferris wheels.
They're fantastical rides.
Yeah,
is really what like they're the kind of things that Willy Wonka would make.
Right. So I'm really interested to see how this goes because I like this stuff. I'll be honest, I'm really more interested in there's this guy I watch named Matt Lown that does Kerbal Space Program YouTube videos, and he had a whole series where he was just making his own theme park and Planet Coaster.
Okay.
And you just watch him time lapse, like spend hours making like a roller coaster that goes around and like putting little detail and stuff in it.
These are the type of games that I'm excited to see what people do more than like actually play.
Yep. Jet the Far Shore got a release date, which is October 5th, and a new trailer. I still don't really understand what's going on in here. I'm a little bit more interested in trying it out. I'm just worried about the No Man's Sky effect of like, is the whole thing like, look, an alien planet, experience it, look at it. Like I just need there to be a little bit more than that.
That's really what it comes down to, is I just don't really know yet.
Yeah.
Like even what they show still just looks kind of like, I don't really admit, I just don't find it interesting.
It's similar to what they've shown before, so I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot, but I'm not just as I do, though. I also like that part at the end where it says strange we've all seen this, but I feel like we've seen this before. I'm wondering if there's is there a fail state reboot time loop like kind of built into it type of thing. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm sure it's fine.
Horizon Forbidden West has a release date, which is
February
22nd. Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff in February from the stuff they announced.
Yep.
Just February for fucking days.
February and October. Like October of this year and February of next year are just like fucking nuts. I'm like, great. There's like 3 months worth of videos I have to do between those two dates, video game industry. Like, put something out in November, for fuck's sake.
Never, they said.
The New World is a thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's the little thing. Yeah.
Did you watch this? Did it make you excited to play the New World and destroy your video card? Or
I watched the trailer and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about this.
I could not care less about the New World. Like, there's nothing about this that excites me even a little bit.
I'm sure it excites the people who it's made for, I guess. I don't really even know. I don't know. It's just another one of those kinds of games that it would take. That's only like really good if you know a shit ton of people who want to play it with you.
It's also an MMO.
Exactly.
Marvel Future Revolution got a launch trailer. This is a crappy phone game full of microtransactions, you told me.
Yeah, it's an MMO phone game.
Yep. Marvel MMO phone game.
And people are actually really excited for it, to be honest, because it's one of those ones where it's like you could be any type of like version of your favorite character kind of thing, but that's where the microtransactions come in.
Can we just get one like core Avengers game that's like a single player game that you spend $60 on and you play through a story? Like I'm still psyched for the horror Doctor Strange Firaxis game, right? It's just like, but like if you just found like a store, like a studio that knows how to make a good single player game, and you let them have the license to make a good like single player Avengers game, they would make that, and then we would all buy it.
We would,
and then it wouldn't. And if you just And then what you could do is you could release paid DLC. You could charge me $10 for the War for Wakanda expansion and stop trying to just get me to buy Captain America skins. God damn it. Like, ooh, there's an alternate timeline. There's a multiverse of madness where it's just because the actual single player of Avengers I thought was fine.
It's really good.
It's just if they had polished it up and not been funneling you towards this whole other system, it would have been better. But
that's the thing, is that we got really spoiled by how good the Arkham games were and how good Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
That we forget like what other type of games exist out there when it came to licensed games.
Yeah. There's a new Tales game on the phone, Tales of Lemuria. It's fine.
Should have been called Tales of Phone.
I just literally looked up, like, why does anybody give a shit about the Tales franchise on my phone? And people were like, wow, the characters. And I'm like, I don't know any of them, so great. Fine. Jumanji is going to be there's going to be a Jumanji game. I was never the biggest Jumanji guy in the world. It's going to be some kind of multiplayer card game thing.
Sure, I guess.
Looks fucking weird, but whatever.
Looks like it's based more on the first movie, which is good.
Yep. Lost Judgment got a real quick teaser. I can't even tell anymore if this is the same footage I've seen before.
It's hard to tell.
more later on, but
exciting stuff though.
Yeah. Fall Guys is getting a crossover with The Jungle Book.
That's weird.
Which is really strange.
It's really strange.
So,
because the blue head is freaking me the fuck out.
Well, all the animals, like the Baloo and King Louie and Shere Khan, is like the Fall Guy, and then the Disney character head on top.
Yeah.
And then Mowgli is just like the dot
guy,
eyes from the Fall Guy. It's nice to see that Fall Guys is still doing a brisk business.
Good for them, to be honest. I know a lot of people were worried that they would die.
Yep. I mean, they've got enough clout to get that Disney tie-in, so...
Yeah. Got Godzilla and now Disney. Who knows what's next?
I guess you could also make the case that they have enough clout to get a Jungle Book tie-in, which is not exactly like the new hotness.
No.
But
they got something.
But sure.
People like Baloo.
Yep. Replaced got a very, very, very brief trailer. I'm actually super interested in this game because this was announced at E3, and It's like an AI trapped in a person's body, which I'm like, oh, that's new and interesting, and I haven't seen that before.
It's exciting, but this thing is so, like, the thing they showed off was so short.
It's very short. Well, what's weird is that it's so short and it almost has no music, and then at the end they're like, listen to the song from this trailer, and I'm like, I literally had to rewind, and I was like, that song isn't in the trailer. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Might be a Twitch thing again.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Age of Empires 4.
It looks like Age of Empires, I guess.
Sure does. You know what? I really appreciate it. I don't know how much of Microsoft really just went on and on and on. They had like 5 things to announce, and they spent fucking 2.5 hours announcing it on their thing. But at least on their thing, when they got to Age of Empires 4, they just did a little documentary on how a trebuchet worked. And I literally watched the entire 5 minutes of it because I was like, oh, this is interesting. As opposed to, like, look, Michael, the little knights. They run, and then they hit the ding, 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 ding.
Ages of Empires is one of those. Do you like Ages of Empire? Then this is for you. Nope. If you don't, well, good fucking luck with you.
Yeah. I don't know. Call me back when you guys do when you convert Age of Empires into what was it? Galactic. What was it? They did a Star Wars version of Age of Empires. I
think it's just called Galactic Empires or something.
Something like that. Yeah. Call me when you do another one of those. And I won't play that either. Valheim is getting an update with a bunch. They got a little animated guy dragging a bunch of tusks back. Apparently, there's going to be some updates where they're putting in new cooking, crafting, and base building stuff.
Neat, I guess.
I tried to stream Valheim the last time I tried a Sunday stream, and I was just like, I don't understand. This sucks. I don't like it, and it sucks. I was just like,
for us. Yeah.
Hey, tell me what to do. Chat, you love to tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. And everybody was just like crickets, and I was like, anybody? All of Twitch? I'll turn off the blockers. Like, I don't understand.
Mueller.
Yeah. Crossfire X.
I forgot about this thing.
Multiplayer trailer. That's right. Did you forget that Crossfire X is getting a single-player campaign made by Remedy?
That was the only reason I remembered it.
Yeah, otherwise, how would you ever remember Crossfire X? Submarine. I like the way they're like, look at these levels. Submarine. Is this
stab each other.
This is the multiplayer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the multiplayer.
Yeah. Crossfire X is a thing, y'all.
Yeah, it exists.
Aloy's in Genshin Impact for some reason.
Again, something that I thought no one's gonna care about this, and then they kept going enough to get fucking Aloy into the game.
Yep. Genshin Impact's huge, man. Don't say shit about Genshin Impact. People get all butthurt and mad that you don't like Genshin Impact. Sifu got a new trailer, which is that it's from the guys that made Absolver.
Yes.
The one where you get older, the more you fight, the more you die, which I'm super into. And I like it. You mentioned if you aged, every punch like ages you by like a month or something.
Oh, jeez.
You do like one really serious combo and then you're an old man. Wow.
Oh, my hip.
I like the amount of weapons that were in here.
They put a lot of work into this game.
Yeah.
You can tell by watching it. It's another game that is fucking coming out in February.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll play it though.
I'm very excited though.
And then finally, last but not least, we got the Death Stranding director's cut preview trailer, which was basically just like, here's a toy box full of stuff.
What cracks me up is the way the announcer sounds reminds me of a Nintendo Direct.
The real sedate.
Yeah, the really sedate, like, look at this thing you can do.
If you need to go down a hill, try the new jetpack.
Mario is here. It's like, what?
Yep. So there's like a new jetpack, sort of like a slow fall.
Yeah.
We knew about the robot legs.
The jetpack thing is really neat, though.
It is. I like the hell out of it. It seems like it's gonna. Well, I also really like the catapult. Right?
Yeah.
The throwing
Send
stuff.
your shit across the area.
I mean, like the whole thing for people. I feel like people maybe don't understand. There'd be people who are like, well, wait a minute, if you could just get legs to carry the things, then why are you even playing this game? And it's like, well, later on you get to a point where you've got you're trying to get heavy materials places to build roads and stuff. And that can be kind of tedious. So it'd be cool to load up the silly legs with the cargo and then have them walk behind you instead of having to worry about trudging around, or use a catapult to throw them to the place where you need them to go. I mean, once you got to the back half of the second area, Mama gave you the zip lines, right?
Yeah. And we made a shit ton of those.
Fuck.
Oh my
yes.
God.
I made so many, especially in the mountain when you get to the top of the mountain and you're just like, I am not going between those two places ever the fuck again. Give me a zip line or give me death.
I remember I had like all these like repair sprays and I'm like, I'm never going to need these. And then I was in the mountain, I was like, oh God, I need more of these.
I need so many. There's a shooting gallery. That's silly and I don't like it. It's
VR missions. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, sure, I guess. Just like the simulations, they said.
I feel like it's just like, oh, look, here's 16 new missions for your bullshit mission thing.
And you unlock bonuses from it, so it's like, fuck, it's just VR missions all over again.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to end up doing it. I'm going to end up playing this entire fucking game again, all the way from the beginning.
I might, but I have to finish all my other games first.
There's a new like kind of taser shot.
Yeah, the maser gun.
Yeah. You can go back and replay the boss fights.
Which is actually kind of nice.
All this is just quality of life for the most part. Like there's some new music. There's a few new like missions, right? There's a few new missions that are very Metal Gear-y. Like it's like sneaking into a place. And this whole part of this is shot like a Metal Gear game, down to the musical choice. And they did. This is the same place where they did that thing where he got in the box in the initial teaser.
Yeah. There's also some stuff where it's like there's mysteries going on in these areas that unlock, or not unlock, but like find out more of the world, I guess.
Yes.
Which I'm interested. That's the main reason I would like to do this. Although it cracks me up because he's like sneaking, but he's got like this tall fucking thing on his back.
Yeah. Well,
that's gonna be interesting.
It's also interesting because I feel like with these quality of life things, like if you know what you're doing, you could really blaze your way through the game. Like you know what you're doing, so it's going to be a lot easier to do stuff. Like beeline for the motorcycle. Get the motor fucking cycle first. Like
just basically like here's the tip for everybody who's considering playing this. Just get past that first 3 chunks, I guess, or how far in? It's chapter 2 or 3 or something like that, right?
It's easier than that. just play main story missions until you get the motorcycle. Like, don't do anything side related, no matter how much the game tries to be like, well, you found a box. Maybe you should go over there to that weather station. Like, don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Fucking go play nothing but the main story missions until you get the motorcycle. And then you'll have a much better time because you'll have a fucking motorcycle.
That's the thing is, like, yeah, there's so much of it in the beginning that it tricks you into thinking that you should do all the deliveries.
Yep.
But you really don't have to.
You really don't.
Like, once you get to a certain point, then those deliveries become nothing.
Yeah. Because you have a motorcycle or a truck or a fucking do a flip off of a jump ramp or like a catapult or a jetpack or legs that'll just do it. Actually, there's a whole point in the game where you get the automated delivery thing and you just send the automated deliveries to go get done. But now we've got like a weird, there's also a racing track roadster.
Yeah.
Which I guess, the world is destroyed, but Fragile still needs you to do these races that she set up. Driving was never the best part of this game.
It was not, except for hitting people with your cars, which was hysterical every time.
Oh yeah, hitting the what were the guys called? The mules?
Yeah, the mules who were like,
it was slow down.
I love the insanity of this world, because it's a world that people criticized a lot, but now that the actual pandemic happened, it became much more relevant.
Yeah.
But there's an enemy type called the mules that are funny to me, because what it is, it's the equivalent of if your DoorDash guy went fucking crazy and wanted to steal things from other DoorDashers.
Yep. Like all he ever did, like they did so much DoorDash that they could conceive of nothing else in life but to do DoorDash.
Yeah.
And then like if they see somebody else, they have to get the DoorDash from them because they gotta get the tip.
It's kind of amazing.
Holy shit. Well, that was it. That was the whole first part. That was the Gamescom. We got Xbox left to go, and then we still got a whole shitload of shit. So we're going to take a break. But when we come back, we're going to jump into the Xbox stream, which is a lot shorter. And then we got some more stuff to talk about. So we'll be back in a minute. And it's time to talk about the crappy Xbox Gamescom Xbox stream.
Yes.
We're going to go through this pretty quick because a lot of this is just kind of, it's fine.
Well, some of it was we already talked about, too.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 5, I didn't even watch. There's just a bunch of driving cars around. It was fine.
It's just for more Horizon, or for Forza, not Horizon.
Yeah. This is actually, I'm going off of this post on the Xbox website. And so this is all out of order. This is completely out of order. In fact, I think it might just be in reverse order. It might have just, let's see, if we go down all the way to the beginning, what is it? Nope. It's just completely out of order. They just did it in a different order. So
it doesn't matter. None of this matters.
It's fine. Age of Empires 4 had a cool 5-minute trebuchet thing.
Which I think is neat, to be honest.
I was talking with Chris about my favorite subject, which is thinking about the things you could invent if you were forcibly thrown back in time. And I was like, ooh, okay. And they kind of explained how a trebuchet worked. Not that I'm like a fucking trebuchet engineer, but like I got the basic concept where I could probably find some peasants to like build me a trebuchet. Right, yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, cool. I learned about trebuchets today. The end. Interestingly, this holiday season, cloud gaming is coming to the consoles. So Xbox Series X, Series S is going to have the same xCloud support.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's already on other stuff. Flight simulators getting a whole bunch of crazy updates. Germany, Austria, Switzerland are getting new imagery. They're putting in this old Junkers Ju-52 aircraft, and they're doing like a with the Reno Air Race. They're putting that in there, and also these weird like taxi drones this company wants to make, which is all pretty cool. I mean, it's flight simulator.
Yeah.
I could. there's no combination of letters in the English language that provokes less excitement in me than there's a Borderlands ship in Sea of Thieves, and it's like, what? Why? And also, who cares? But also, why? So
I saw a streamer play the game where there's like an Xbox themed boat.
Okay.
Like it looks like it has like an old OG Xbox like symbol as its sail.
Okay.
It's black, and they kept calling it the X Boat Series X.
Oh God!
And I was like, I'm cool with this.
That's pretty cool.
That's way more interesting than Mayhem. This Mayhem ship.
I didn't understand for a little while, but State of Decay 2 is getting an expansion that adds the map from State of Decay 1 into State of Decay 2.
Interesting.
So Trumbull Valley, which is where State of Decay 1 took place, is going to be added into State of Decay 2 as a big thing.
Okay.
I never have been into either of the State of Decay games. I know some people are like way into them, but
it's one of those games that like I get why people are into it. I just never really cared.
Yeah. Wasteland 3 is getting a expansion called Cult of the Holy Detonation, which is a bunch of mutants that are worshiping the radiation, kind of strange body horror style, which is coming out later this year. And then there's also going to be a, what is it called, like the Colorado collection that has Wasteland 3 and then the 2 expansion packs to it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Dying Light 2, there was a pretty cool trailer for that. It had a lot more parkour, like hardcore parkour. It was actually really good looking. Like, I love Dying Light, and I think Dying Light 2 looks really cool, and I really want to play it. It was a lot of like, it was really action-packed. There was kind of a combat sequence of jumping off the side of stuff and really just smashing down on people with big old bladed weapons and stuff. So
that's the thing about Dying Light is one of those games that like everyone I've ever talked to who played the first one says it's amazing.
It is so good, like absolutely fantastic. Really, really underrated game in my opinion because nobody ever brings it up. Like, because it wasn't just that, because there was the Dying Light, and then there was like there was some. I think there was some mission stuff, but then there was this expansion that was like this big open farmland where you like drove around in cars and stuff. And then they were making another game that was like a medieval combat game based on the Dying Light engine called Hell Raid that never came out. But then that got integrated into like an arcade cabinet inside of Dying Light. So you could just walk up to it and play this medieval combat game against like skeletons and shit. And then that got an expansion to add a whole story mode to it. So like, dude, Dying Light is fucking great. Like, there's a lot going on in Dying Light.
Yeah.
And Dying Light 2, I really like the look of it, so I'm hoping that it does well. Crusader Kings 3, which everybody seems to really like. This is like a kind of medieval marrying, having kids, legacy kind of thing, is coming to consoles later this year. So it was on PC, Xbox Game Pass, I believe, and now it's coming to Series X, Series S. The one thing that I was really down for, though, was they had this kind of Humble Games montage that had a bunch of different games on it, and there was some really cool looking stuff in here. Like, it was Archvale, which I didn't think was great. I've always been into Next Space Rebels because it's like punk rock Kerbal Space Program, and I'm fucking all about that life. That was where we saw Midnight Fight Express, I believe, for the first time. There's Dodgeball Academia, which is already out, but I like this Bushidan game. Looks like a fucking Sega Genesis kind of 2D action game, with like these big sprites. There's Flynn, Son of Crimson, which is kind of just a pixel-based side sprite unpacking, which we've talked about.
That's a weird one still.
100 fucking times before. The Signalis thing, I really like the way that this looks with this kind of weird 3D, but then with a lot of pixelation to it, and it seems like it's got a real like futuristic horror, body horror thing going on, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Unsighted seems like a big old, again, kind of pixel-based action adventure thing. Chinatown Detective Agency just seems like a kind of an adventure game. And then what was the last one? That was it. But I really like that Bushidan game. I like the look of the Bushidan game. I like the look of that Signalis game. And then the rest they look okay. But
yeah, they look like they could be a fun enough time.
Yeah.
And yeah, day one Game Pass, so you don't even have to. All you have to do is pay for the Game Pass. Yep. I know that sounds like we're shilling, but god damn, it's still such a good fucking deal.
I mean, I get the argument that to actually own it, stuff goes off of Game Pass or whatever, but still, like Game Pass, I mean, it's like $10 a month, right?
Yeah.
Which is, when you consider the budget for video games, like what you pay for video games, like if there's one game a month you want to play on Game Pass, it is already bought itself. Like that's the thing, is that it's not even like, oh, Xbox, they're the best. I'm going to jerk off Phil Spencer or whatever. Like, I don't even care about any of that. It's mostly just like, I learned that Game Pass was worth it before Game Pass even blew up, because at $10 a month, it meant that if there was one $60 game in the 6 months that you had it, you were broke even. And if there was anything else, then you were essentially getting kind of games for nothing, and
you got every single first-party Microsoft game.
Yep.
Everyone talks about, like, exclusives and stuff. It was a hell of a deal, because you get every fucking Gears of War, every Halo, a lot of the Dead Rising,
State of Decay.
Yeah. Tons of stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, it keeps adding stuff. Like, every time there's something first-party related, it's going to be on here. And now that they have Bethesda and all that shit, it's going to be even fucking crazier.
They put all the Quakes on it. They put all Quake 1, 2, and 3 came out this week on there. So, because of they announced that at Quick World. I think it was like the only thing that I heard from there.
Tons of stuff is coming onto that thing constantly.
Stray Blade was kind of an interesting one. That's like a sort of Dark Souls light plus Metroidvania with I don't know, the art style reminded me a lot of Kurt Schilling what was that game that was like,
I don't remember the name. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
God damn it! It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Come on, brain. Come on. You can do it.
You're almost there.
It's coming.
You're going to remember during the break, and it's going to be fucking funny.
But there is no break. We already went on break. I'll remember it later and then just yell it. But it looks pretty good. It's not Champions of Norath, brain. Stop.
It looks like Fortnite, they said.
Stop telling me it's Champions of Norath, brain. I know it's not. The Gunk is
I forgot about that thing.
Yeah, wasn't this announced at E3?
It was. I think even... I don't even remember if it was this past E3.
It's basically by the same people that made the SteamWorld series, but it's like their first 3D game, and it's like you're kind of on this alien planet, and there's all this gunk around, and you're like sucking it up and trying to figure out what's going on, and it looks pretty cool, like a little adventure game. So
it looked like it could be a fun time.
Yep. And I think that's it, right? Like
everything else they showed off on the other thing, so yeah.
Yep, that's kind of it. And man, it was long. It was like
it's a really long one.
Fucking like an hour and 20 minutes. Just
it's a lot of dev talk for the most part. So if you're interested in that stuff, go back and watch that stuff.
Yeah,
because I'm sure that stuff will be interesting if you like Forza and all those things.
Horizon looks great, but again, they're just like, hey, look at the driving, look at the cars go, and it's like, yes, cars are very pretty. I agree.
Yeah.
It's not Champions of Norath, brain. Stop it.
Keep going back to.
I have to. Okay, I gotta know. Wait. Oh God, it's almost there. Kurt Schilling game. What was it? 38 Studios. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Okay, there we go. Kingdoms of Amalur.
Oh, okay.
Reminded me of Kingdoms of Amalur. All right. We can't ever stop talking about Blizzard.
Can we not?
No, we can't.
Oh.
So this week we got a couple of new developments in the whole California versus Activision Blizzard case. The California lawsuit has been expanded to include temp workers as well as basically women, because after some of the stuff that's come out, they're like, oh, it seems like your temp workers are also underpaid, overworked, and treated like shit.
Nope.
And that's not allowed. Apparently, the California Department of Employment and whatnot, Housing and Employment, is alleging now that Activision Blizzard is shredding documents.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, guys.
So that they can't find out if they're doing bad stuff. Activision Blizzard denies this. At this point, I am not inclined to lend a lot of goodwill towards Activision Blizzard after all this stuff.
I can imagine the interview. We're not doing that. What's that sound in the background? Nothing.
Oh, it's a juicer. It's
a truck backfiring.
Company juicer. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. They're still kind of moving forward. I think that this is that. I mean, the problem with this whole thing, Michael, is that there is a lawsuit. And you can't hide shit in a lawsuit. So eventually there will have to be a lawsuit, which would make a lot of sense about shredding documents. The Activision Blizzard put out a statement this time where they said, throughout our engagement with the DFEH, we've complied with every proper request in support of its review, even as we have been implementing reforms to ensure our workplaces are welcome and safe for every employee. And then they go over a list of changes, which all seem... Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. One of the things I was going to say before is it appears that Activision Blizzard, much like the story last week that we heard from Riot Games, is trying to pressure internally people to... into like settlements with NDAs attached so that they can't testify like later on, which is not actually completely legal, or to like bring complaints they have to that fucking horrible lawyer sack of lawyers that they hired that does the union busting bullshit. Wilmer Hale, they're like, no, bring your complaints to Wilmer Hale, you know, the union busters that fucking, you can trust them.
That's that shredder again. That's the suggestion box.
Yes. Yes. Some of the stuff that they outlined that in Blizzard's Activision Blizzard's statement they put out is they talk about several high-level personnel changes, revamped hiring and recruiting practices requiring diverse interview panels, greater transparency on pay equity, expanded and improved training and investigative capabilities for human resource and compliance staff, created investigation teams outside of business units to support greater independence, restructured divisions to support greater accountability. It goes on like that for a few more. The thing is that I wanted to
synergy.
I wanted to point this out, Michael, because when I read these things, this to me is exactly the way I write my resume, where like, because I used to bring the weekly reports to my boss because he fucking hated me, I could be like, facilitated inter-office communication between management and staff, when it's just like, it was like, fucking Jeff, where's my coffee? And then you just like fluff it up because, you know, like greater transparency on pay equity. Well, the word greater is doing a lot of work there.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Does that mean that everybody knows what everybody else is getting paid? Or does that mean that, like, we gave them a range of what our executives might be getting paid before bonuses?
We just
like,
yelled from the other side of the room, pay, and then that was it.
Right. Yeah. Like, this whole list... Again, they have not fostered a lot of goodwill with me. So
with anybody, like every time something new comes out, their buzzwords aren't doing anything for anybody anymore.
Yep. I like that at the end of their statement where they're like, we provide the DFEH with clear evidence that we do not have gender pay or promotion disparities. Like, right.
Sure, you guys did.
Sure
you did.
Sure.
As you shredded the other ones.
Yeah. It's all going to come out in court. Well, I guess the biggest problem the biggest thing I'm still waiting to see whether this ends up blowing over and eventually everybody forgets about it and goes on with their life and fucking buys the next Call of Duty, right? Like,
that's what they're waiting for. 100%.
Because if they actually take any kind of actual financial hit, that would be that would be the thing that makes, like, what was it? You and I were talking a few weeks back about how, like, there was that group of investors that was like, we want to suspend the executive bonuses until we have like clear evidence that this shit has been taken care of. And it was like, that is a commitment to change right there. Whereas this is just, again, you wrote your resume where you just fluffed up all the stuff that you did. And anyway. Speaking of Activision, I didn't actually realize this last week when the Activision Vanguard trailer dropped, but apparently the actual Activision company logo is not on the last panel.
Oh my God.
Of the trailer. It's got
just a gap there.
Yeah, it's got Treyarch and Sledgehammer and Beanox, and then there's like a big gap on one side where that seems like the Activision logo should go there. Now, actually, they compared this to last year's, and there's also a big gap in there, but Activision's name is literally on the end of the trailer. So
what's the first one and the other one?
Sledgehammer.
Okay.
Sledgehammer Games.
It does have Activision at least on there. It's just in there. It's the small words.
Oh yeah, it's not their. It's not their logo. It's like Well, apparently a lot of the previous trailers would start with like Activision Presents, right? Like,
they were really proud of Call of Duty.
Yeah, and that this one, it was very much just like It's Call of Duty. it's Call of Duty presents Call of Duty.
Because because the general public doesn't pay attention to stuff like this as much as we do.
Yeah.
And that's what they're hoping for.
Are you saying the general public does not listen to the Rage Select podcast?
I didn't say they don't listen to the Rage Select podcast. I say they don't care enough about the Activision lawsuit part of it.
Okay. I get you.
Phew, that was a close one, guys.
I'm still a little salty though. Yeah, it would not surprise me if this was actually a thing where they were just like, hey, go into Adobe Premiere and hide that logo when you're rendering the video.
It just says presents now.
Yeah. Present presents. Let's see. We got an interesting story this week. Frostpunk 2 was announced, and we got a really interesting story where Frostpunk 2 was announced, and one of these shit-ass key reselling websites called Kinguin literally put Frostpunk 2 as a pre-order on their website, even though there isn't even a release date for it yet.
Oh my God.
They literally were jumping the gun on and for anybody who doesn't know, let's run it down real fast. There's a lot of places. G2A is the big one that'll resell keys at a reduced price. A lot of these keys come by people who take stolen credit cards, buy a bunch of keys on Steam, and then sell them to G2A as a way of money laundering a fake credit card, so that they can get money out of it by basically turning the credit card into keys and the keys into cash, and then G2A takes those keys and is able to sell them at a reduced price. There's a whole fucking backstory to this. I've had companies that have accused third-party key-selling websites of not doing the due diligence of checking to see, are these fucking stolen, instead of just selling them and then eating into the bottom line. Because the thing is that once it turns out that the credit card is stolen, the keys are gone, but the money is refunded to the person whose credit card is stolen. So now all those keys were not paid for, but then they get resold. So
that causes a huge fucking cluster from the people who bought it, who then have to contact them. They're like, how come my key doesn't work?
Right. If they even do that. A lot of times indie developers just have to eat it because there's not a way to get to recoup the loss. Because, then the person that buys it off of G2A, they're just like, what, I fucking paid money for this. Yeah. Why doesn't it work? And the bad will just goes towards the person who made the game as opposed to G2A. Now, the developer went online and literally made a tweet on the Frostpunk game thing. It was like, announcement, we don't know the price of our game yet. We don't have any keys. Some shitty scammer sells Frostpunk 2 on pre-order under umbrella of another crook, Kinguin. Retweet and let's make some noise to stop it. Media folks. And it tagged a bunch of media outlets. Now, Kinguin has taken this down and backed off of this, which is good. But still, I mean, just fuck you guys.
They would have left it up if not accused of it, kind of thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things that continues to be a shitty thing, but that is hard to. People forget about it. It's complicated to explain, and nobody's
100%.
Bringing it up all the time. So this is me bringing it up all the time.
Well, because every time it's brought up, it's only the indies who suffer from it. Yeah, because the big people don't. They make enough money where they don't even notice it.
Right. Or either that or they have a big enough deal with Steam where they're just like, no. you're going to pay us for the keys that get cashed in. I don't care whether the fucking credit card was stolen or not. If you want Call of Duty on Steam, you're going to fucking pay me for it. So,
well, that's exactly.
Or they have whole departments full of people to stop it as opposed to, some dude and 3 other dudes making a game about fucking freezing to death.
In fact, the first one, right?
What's that?
Did we play the first one?
I think so. The big furnace in the middle, and those guys around it.
That's what I thought.
Was it you and I, or was it somebody else?
That was me and you.
Okay. Yep.
Because it kept freezing to death. We kept trying to make entertainment, and that wasn't working.
It's yes.
Go to the factory dying. Have more bars.
Make a snowman with a dick on it. Oh, geez.
They did not like us.
As of, let's see. So we talked about this a little while back, but this week on Wednesday, a bunch of Twitch streamers are trying to do this hashtag kind of a day off Twitch, where some smaller streamers, I don't know if any big streamers are in on this yet, are basically saying that they want to just not stream on this day as a way to try to bring some awareness to hate raids on Twitch.
It's a big problem, apparently.
And well, apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently Twitch has started, after some of the other stories that we've had about Twitch and inclusivity and different people, has started like letting people kind of subdivide into more unique categories, which of course makes it a lot easier to find the specific person that you want to fuck with, because they're in like, you know, LGBTQ category. I'm glad I'm not really on Twitch anymore. Like, I don't miss Twitch very much.
That's the thing, is every time I think about the idea, because I know some people who do stream on Twitch as, not as a living, but they're trying to make it their thing.
Sure.
And I've had my brother be like, why don't you do it? And I'll be like, because I'm a minority and I don't have a good idea that this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Also, it's a lot of work.
It is. It's a shitload of work. It's so much more work than what we do. Like, we
100%.
You know, we do like 10 30-minute videos a week, and people will stream 7 days a week just for hours. And I'm like, dude, I like playing video games, but I also like watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, fucking researching cold brew iced tea. Like,
like right now I have a new job and I'm working 50 hours a week at the moment. So I don't really think I want to do that right now.
No. Anyway, we'll have to see whether this makes a difference. One of the arguments that has been made that I find the most compelling about this whole situation is Twitch takes 50% of what you make. And so that 50% should go towards making sure that there are easy to use, super easy tools that can keep shit like this from happening, that don't involve punishing other people. Like, I have like I've said before, I have my Twitch set up so that you have to follow me. You have to have been following me for an hour in order to even talk in the chat, which is great for avoiding assholes.
At least for an hour.
Yeah. Well, but it's not great for people who stumble on my stream, right?
Yeah.
Who are just like, oh, this seems cool. I want to talk to this idiot about how he's playing Kerbal Space Program wrong. Tap a tap a tap. Oh, well, fuck that guy. I'm going to go find somebody else who I could talk to immediately, right? It requires an hour's worth of investment from the internet, which is a big ask.
100%. And it's just, I don't know, it's insane. The whole Twitch thing is insane.
I agree. Let's see. I'm not entirely sure about this story. This is kind of weird. Unity is having a thing where apparently it kind of came out this week that Unity has like a subsection of Unity does like government contract work for the military, and that fact number one, fact number two, technology development in other areas of Unity can be shared across the company and utilized by other teams. So it's possible that like people who aren't specifically working for this government contract might be developing tools that then end up being used for military applications.
This is how Johnny 5 gets made, isn't it?
It is. And they're not exactly super happy with that. I can kind of understand that. Like,
I could sort of see that. Like the idea that you make something that's like really good for people who don't, who have disabilities is then used for like a guidance system or something.
Right. Or a lot of it apparently is like AI stuff for simulations, and it's like so it gets a little fuzzy. I mean, I'm more often than not in favor of people having full eyes wide open about like what happens with the things that they make, right? Like,
it comes down to the contract, because there's plenty of contracts for any place I've ever worked at that was very much like, whatever you make here we can use for like whatever,
right, kind
of thing. Like, that's just what's going to happen. Like, it was never really yours to begin with, kind of thing. And that's where this becomes kind of tricky, because they came in knowing that full well, kind of thing. It just turns out there's also government shit happening at the same time that they just didn't know about. I think that's really where it becomes tricky.
I agree. Something to keep one's eye on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's move from this a very serious topic to a very ridiculous topic.
Oh yeah, I heard about this fucking thing.
Apparently, Soulja Boy thought that he was buying Atari. I
don't know if he thought he was buying them. He thinks he just thought he owns them for some fucking reason.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Soulja Boy created a bunch of horrible bootleg consoles and put his name on them. Or not, he didn't create them. I'm pretty sure these were just shitty Chinese knockoff consoles that Soulja Boy's name got put on.
They're the ones you could buy like at a mall with one of those kiosks.
Yeah.
They're like 100,000 fucking Nintendo games kind of thing.
But he has a real like mad on for the video game industry. Like he says he made Reggie Fils-Aimé retire, like,
which is the most batshit insane thing anyone has ever said.
Yeah. So apparently he claimed at one point that like he had a bunch of deals with Atari, and that Atari had offered to sell him the company for $140 million, and he was thinking about it. At which point Atari just went online and was like, no.
Like, no, that's not a thing.
That's
never been a thing.
So I don't know if Soulja Boy is making up, like, just pretending that he is buying Atari. If you were going to pretend a thing, why Atari? Atari sucks. Like,
I think that's why. I think he thought people wouldn't. I think he thought Atari wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Or people wouldn't fact check because it's Atari.
Yeah.
But like, it's still like, why? Why would you say that in general?
I like the message that Atari put out where they were just like, we know that CEO of Atari is a dream job, but that honor belongs to Wade Rosen.
Yeah, like it's like, why? So like the guy's clearly losing his mind.
Yeah.
And wants to be part of the game world and just is starting to say things.
Yep.
Like,
Just
like it's like it's like the guy on the playground who is like, yeah, I know they do this and that. Like, you know, I'm a big fucking gangster bro, and my uncle, he works at Nintendo, but my cousin also works for Atari, and he told me that she said that they said, like that sort of dude.
Yeah.
Except now the internet exists.
so you could be fact checked immediately.
Yeah, exactly. He's the guy who moved from one town to the other and really wants people to like him.
Yeah. I agree. Let's see. From there, we got another story where this is an RTX 3090 story where there was this guy. I believe he's in Holland, who basically got a 3090 and it kept overheating. And he was like, I don't know why. And so he decided to take the card apart. And he found that somebody had left like a finger condom thing, like, you know, the like one finger glove, yeah. Right? And it was just like inside of this video card between like the chips and the heat sink. And so every time he started running the card, it would just immediately overheat. And this is, I mean, obviously this is just a mistake during the manufacturing.
Yeah, of course.
But because it's a Founders Edition card, there was a little bit of a weird thing where like he contacted NVIDIA, and NVIDIA was like, well, you voided the warranty, you took the fucking card apart, and then he showed him a picture, and they were like, oh, well, it's funny because this is how much of a supply, how much of our supply chain issues are dicking us up right now, is that NVIDIA was like, well, take it out and put it back together and see if it works, and then if it doesn't, we'll send you another one. Like, we aren't just going to send you another one. They're just like, man, we don't have any of these. Like, fucking just take it out and see if it works, and we'll totally reinstate your warranty, and then like just let us know.
Yeah, this is on us. Like, you opened it because it turns out we fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good on them, because a lot of other places would have just been like, nope, you open it, doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Good for them.
Let's see. Final Fantasy 14. One of Final Fantasy 14's servers is completely full.
Oh my god!
And is not accepting new characters. So the Ether data center is labeled as congested, but apparently all three of their data servers are listed as congested. But Ether will not be accepting any new players at this point, or new characters at this point.
Kind of amazing.
This appears to be the same server that a bunch of like YouTubers that are playing it are playing on.
Oh, okay.
But also, I feel like this was just a thing where like everybody suddenly got their fucking balls put in a meat grinder about World of Warcraft, and decided to go play Final Fantasy 14, and they just were like, oh, this is good. Oh, there's a lot of them. Oh, there's shit. That's
exactly what happened. The fact that they sold out of their digital version of the game was like, oh, fuck. This is not what we prepared for.
They actually said that if they didn't stop, if they didn't stop letting people create new characters, that they were going to have login queue times of up to like over an hour.
Oh my God.
To get in if they didn't stop. And it's just like, the thing I don't understand is, isn't this thing made to like, can't you just like buy 4 more racks of servers and like plug them in and format them and like get your shit going? Like,
maybe they're out of servers. I don't know.
Not plan for the expandability. It's Square Enix. Take some of that. Just take Nomura and make him go to the server room and plug in some new servers.
The Avengers aren't using theirs. It's fine.
That's right. Take all those Avengers servers and shift them to Final Fantasy 14.
I play it, but I don't even think I use it.
It's kind of amazing, though. Just this is kind of a weird story. Final Fantasy 14 is a weird game because that whole fucked up launch, and then they took it offline and they remade the whole thing, and then they keep adding like, oh, now it's got Nier content, now it's got Final Fantasy 6 content, like
Monster Hunter content. Like the whole thing is just fucking. It's one of those things like if you laid out the history of Final Fantasy 14, you'd be like, how the fuck did this happen?
Yes, it's very strange. What's not strange is the announcement that once again Skyrim is getting re-released.
For fuck's sakes, guys.
Michael, on November 11th,
sakes.
you can get Skyrim, the Anniversary Edition. What anniversary? Ask me which anniversary.
I saw the some Facebook posts from friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, you can unfriend me if you want, but I'm buying fucking Skyrim again.
10 years. It's longer than Rage Select has been a thing. That's
10 years.
That's like one of the first videos that I did with Corey and Jason on Spill.com was when the PlayStation 3 version of Skyrim came out. Now they're putting out the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC version of Skyrim.
Did I tell you the story the first time I bought Skyrim?
No.
So what happened was that I decided I wanted to try out Skyrim because a friend of mine was really into it. So I bought a used copy of Skyrim from GameStop because, back then you could still return it really easily. And it was scratched to fuck.
Nice.
Like, it was so fucking, just destroyed. So I returned it. They didn't have it anymore, of course, because the game had just come out.
Yeah.
That was, the only used copy they had for that.
Wait, so somebody bought Skyrim, scratched it up, and then fucking sold it back to GameStop?
Yeah, and they didn't fucking try to fix it at all. They just put it back on the fucking shelf or something.
All right.
And so I ended up buying it new. And then I got bored with it after 10 hours, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I was then stuck.
That's actually, it's very good that you quit after 10 hours because the PlayStation 3 version of Skyrim, remember, the longer you play it, the worse your save file got, and it got slower and slower and slower and slower. So if you play it for 200 hours, it would just be completely unplayable.
I had the 360 one though, so that wouldn't have affected me. But still, I don't even remember what I did with it. I think I just ended up trading it in to eventually.
So here's the thing. I'm actually going to say that when I read this full announcement, I saw the headline that rolled my eyes like fucking Liz Lemon and was like, oh, fucking whatever. Then I read it, and it turns out that maybe, because apparently the next gen upgrade they're going to be integrating 500 Creation Club elements into the game.
Oh my God.
Some of the mods and some of the upgrades and enhancements, new quests. There's a whole fishing mechanic that apparently they added to the game. I'm like, why? It took you fucking 10 years to add fishing to Skyrim? How many other times have I bought this game? And it's going to come with Dawnguard and
all the DLC
Dragon
stuff.
one, all the Morrowind one, all the DLCs all in one place, and all this Creation Club stuff.
But can you make Thomas the Tank Engine the dragons?
No,
at least not legally.
On the PC you probably can. I don't even know. The main thing is just that, Skyrim isn't. You play Skyrim once, man. Skyrim isn't the greatest or anything.
It's fine. It's fine. You play it once, and then you kind of just don't care anymore.
At the time, there was nothing like it.
Yeah.
Since then,
that was 10 years ago, guys.
Fucking, there's so much like it. So
there's been so many things since then, like Avengers.
Yeah. Dark Souls. See, we each played into our own stereotype there.
It helps that there was an Avengers ad on the screen.
Yes. There's 100 Avengers ads on the screen.
They really want you guys to play Avengers again.
Let's see. In other mod news, some crazy son of a bitch has been working on a mod for Mafia 1 for 15 years. And the mod is to put the entire Titanic with all the rooms and everything into Mafia 1. and they put out the first part of this that people could look at. Now, let me tell you some things, Michael.
Part?
Yes. All you could do is go on to it and like walk around most of the ship, but some of it's not done yet.
Oh, wow.
There are no missions. You can't like crash it into an iceberg. You can't like do anything to it. It's just the fucking Titanic. It's in Mafia 1. Now, it is also in the original Mafia 1. It is not it's not compatible with the new one. It's also not compatible with any other mods. Like the widescreen mod. So you literally have to play like the original version. Like you could see in this video that we're watching that they've obviously cut the top and bottom off to make it screen thing. This is like some Norwegian like maritime scholar that's doing this, and it looks, I mean, I'll be honest, it looks great.
Good for them.
But
really.
And apparently they eventually want to make it so that you can ride it into the iceberg and you can do missions on it and stuff, but right now it's just mostly there.
Fucking hell, man. Like there's clearly a lot of love in this thing.
Yep.
And God fucking damn. Good for them, I guess.
Level of dedication here that I will never know in my entire life.
No, me neither.
So yeah, that happened. If you're into the Titanic or Mafia, maybe you go do that. Let's see. And then I think, let's see, what do we got here? We got a few more. Yeah, we got a couple more stories before we get into trailers. Epic is letting people go into beta to self-publish games in the store. So this is kind of like your Steam Greenlight thing, as opposed to submitting directly, having Epic control your store page and all that stuff. You can kind of just self-publish stuff. Which is great if they can make it so that it doesn't turn into Steam, where it's just fucking hentai puzzle games and garbage, to the point where, like, if you go look at just new games on Steam, most 90% of what's on there are like Russian Grand Theft Auto clones and hentai.
Or both.
Or both, yeah. Both.
Literally both of those things at the same time.
So one of the things
on the Titanic, or no less.
One of the things that I noted is that apparently they said that their restrictions on what kind of things can be put on the store include pornography, also illegal material or malware. I'm like, well, that's good that you can't put a virus. They can't buy a virus off the Epic store.
You'd hope. You'd hope not. Yes.
Yeah.
Unless that's what it was titled.
Yep.
Just malware. Just outright. Just fucking. You know what you're getting.
There's a new PS5 model.
Yes.
That is 0.6 ounces lighter and has a different screw for the stand.
Yeah, because the screw that is with it currently can only be done.
You have to use a screwdriver.
Either a screwdriver or a coin that will fit that section.
Right.
For the most part. So they added one where it has like the...
it's a thumb screw.
Yes. So it has like a grip on the side that you can actually full on turn with your hand.
Yep.
So good for the people who get a new one and they want to stand it up.
Yep.
It's kind of what it's for.
That's not... I haven't even talked about my fancy new D-brand fucking full black conversion kit for my PlayStation.
I wanted to bring it up, but I wasn't sure when to bring it up. But yeah, he bought the black face plates.
Yep.
And he also they came out with the black controller recently, so now he has a completely black PS4 5 to go with his completely black Xbox Series X.
Well, not just that, Michael. Also, my completely black PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii. Like, every console I own is a flat black console.
Except for the Wii U.
Except for the Wii U.
Yeah.
And the Switch. Well, the Switch controllers are red and blue, but
and that was because that was my fault.
Well,
because
that's fine.
He almost got the non-one,
the gray ones.
But at the time we thought the red and blue was going to be rare, so I was like, I'm going to do him solid, and I bought him the rare one.
Yep.
And it turns out that was not the case.
True. I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. Like, I've been looking at the two-tone one for so long that every time it catches my eye, I'm just like, that's weird looking.
I almost forget that's a PS5.
Yeah.
I think it's a fancy fucking Blu-ray player, which is technically true.
We're just doing Blu-ray reviews now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought those from D-Brand. It was pretty cool. And then, of course,
it's really nice, actually.
The PlayStation controller is just, they just made a black controller, and it's just a black controller, so. Let's see. Trailers. We got a trailer for... Michael hasn't seen any of these trailers because I made him watch the other ones. We got a story trailer for Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo. Remember this weird thing? It's a really strange looking game. It's like this psychologist talking to this guy who's got vertigo so bad he can't get out of bed, and it's like, but is there a murder? It's very kind of Life is Strange Alfred Hitchcock edition.
I can see. Yeah, it actually looks very much like a Life is Strange game.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible to tell what the fuck is going on in this trailer, but as long as they use the Vertigo zollies whenever they can,
I'm cool with that. Vertigo is actually my favorite Hitchcock film.
Yeah,
like outright.
I don't know. I might. I don't know. I never thought about it. Couldn't say.
It's a tough call. But Jimmy Stewart,
That's true.
Gives me the vapors.
Did you see this Metroid Dread trailer?
Yeah, I actually did see this one.
This is a hell of a trailer because I was really interested because it's about the fucking X parasite, which means that this is directly following from Fusion, which means that a lot of people are going to be really confused about what's happening in Metroid. Like, it's the ship from Fusion.
Yeah.
The AI calls her lady, like the AI in your ship in Fusion. It's got the actual
sequential.
Yeah.
Right
whole
now, guys.
Sequential with Jeff and Matt. But
screaming, shouting.
We do a lot of yelling and screaming.
It's literally the only reason I know what an X parasite is, to be honest, is because I'm watching it.
Well, that's why I wanted to do it, because I know what an X parasite is because I played Fusion back when it came out, but I feel like a lot of people wouldn't, right? Because it was specifically a Game Boy Advance game.
It was like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
If not earlier?
Yeah. And so it seems like the Emmys, like the big robots that they showed that chase you around, might have gotten infused with X, maybe?
Yeah, it's the way that this trailer says is they were sent as drones.
Yeah.
And that they might have just been possessed.
They went offline.
Yeah.
I like all the cutscene stuff. When we saw Metroid Dread at E3, it was very much just like gameplay, and so I love the way this planet looks and the way that the ship and Samus and the computer and everything looks. And I like the fact that there appeared to be full on cutscenes, even though this is going to be a 2D game, which is great.
I'm curious if there's going to be Samus speaking things. I don't know. That's the only thing that we haven't found out yet so far.
Yep. Well, she talks in there. She talks in this trailer.
Does she talk in this trailer?
She responds really briefly when the computer talks to her. She says Roger or something like that.
Oh, I guess I didn't hear that part.
But yeah,
it's a very short trailer.
Very short trailer, but cool. I want to see it. I want to play it. Looking forward to it.
I hope it does well.
Valfaris. There's a new Valfaris game. Remember this Absolute Metal 2D platformer side-scroller that played? So apparently there's a new one, and in this one, the metal as fuck dude is piloting a drone, and it is a shmup. It is a super metal 3D shmup with a giant metal mech with an axe flying through the air, blowing stuff up, and it's all 3D instead of 2D.
I'm slightly disappointed by that though, because I really like the aesthetic of the last one.
I agree, but it's still pretty cool.
But it's a spin-off more than anything, if that's the case.
I don't know. It looks all right. I like the fact that whatever this flying guy has, he has a giant axe. So
he looks rad as hell though.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got a trailer for Dolmen, which I think this might have been a Gamescom trailer. I got a little out over my skis this week, but some kind of it's going to be an action RPG. It's like a space thing where you're going to a research facility where they broke open a door to another dimension and there's all this crazy stuff coming through. But there's this one super looks like a weird Presto from a Doom game or the Chosen from War of the Chosen or whatever guy in here. So there's not really any gameplay here, but if they're using the same models from their engine, I like the look of it. It's got a kind of cool look to it. So
I feel like there need to be more protocols in case of opening interdimensional space hell portal.
Yeah,
due to the fact that it's happened to at least 3 or 4 games.
That's true. Well, then there's that. Remember that there's that I forget what it's called. There's it's like a space combat game, but you're blasting Cthulhu's in space.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
but yeah, apparently that happens a lot because it's happened in Half-Life and Doom.
True.
This game, and I know there's another game that did it.
We got a new
Event Horizon
12-minute trailer for that Black Myth Wukong that they made that kind of proof of concept thing for. I watched all this. It's really good looking. It's got, this kind of giant giant. It's mostly a few bosses and then a lot of kind of like moving around. There's more HUD elements than we saw previously because I don't think there were any HUD elements previously.
Oh, yeah.
It looks good. It's interesting because I think this is like, what was that other game that we keep coming up on? That guy that made it by himself. That's like a Devil May Cry looking game.
I don't remember the name of it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I like this idea that we're coming into this world where like one person and an Unreal 5 can make like a game that would have taken 400 developers 6 months or like 6 years to make previously.
Well, it's exciting because a lot of people can just finally make something that they've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like this is the kind of thing where the Monkey King is very public domain.
Yeah.
But it's a great character to use for a game.
And it's got a really nice art style too. So yeah, hoping to see more of that moving forward. There's not as much like the previous one had a lot of like attacking smaller enemies, and this one's just kind of a boss rush.
Which is cool because it lets you know more of what's going on.
Yep. Let's see. This is interesting. I don't know if you heard about this, Michael, but this week we found out the release date for WWE 2K22.
Really?
Yes. Would you like to guess what the release date of WWE 2K22 is?
May of next year.
March of next year.
That was close.
Which you are close, but that's interesting because usually they put out like next year's game like this year, right?
Yeah.
It's like the normal, like putting out 2K22 in 2022. Oh, no, wait, it'll be 2021. No, it'll be 2022 because it'll be March next year. Is weird.
Yeah, because a lot of the places do that. Madden and all of them, they always send the name at the next year.
It's like future proof it, or whatever.
And that's what they've done for a lot. The reason I guessed that was because everything's been delayed.
Yeah,
constantly due to COVID.
Well, and also this has gotten delayed because remember the last one, the 2K20 was fucking terrible,
and that was a clusterfuck. Like the second it became it became the year on the box, it fucked up the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And then last year they put out that Battlegrounds game that was like the little fucking...
Oh, yeah, that's on Game Pass, I think, or something like that.
That game is a microtransaction machine. Like,
actually, no, I think it was the free game for PlayStation Plus. Ugh. I think is what it was.
Oh God, don't pollute your PlayStation with that game. It's so bad.
Yeah. Because it's on my library, and I was like, why is this on here? I was like, oh, because it was a free with Plus.
Look, if you want to fight somebody next year, do yourself a favor. Don't play the WWE game. Play King of Fighters 15.
Hell yeah.
Because it got a full release date, February 2022.
Got a really long trailer, too.
Yeah. Did you watch this trailer?
I watched the longer one, because the one that...
even more.
There's a 4-minute version of this trailer.
Where it's like everybody from every... King of Fighters is coming back for
a lot of the mainer characters.
Yeah,
because there's because apparently the last one had like 70 something fucking characters.
Yeah,
at launch, but this one, they added a lot of stuff. There's a long playing story mode, of course. 3-on-3, some more features in it. Like a place where you can listen to the music, a training mode. A bunch of online stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
The longer trailer also announced that there's going to be 2 or 3 versions of the release. If you buy it digitally, pre-order wise, you can play it 3 days in advance.
Okay.
You also get the Mark of the Wolf Terry outfit where he has the jacket and without the hat.
Okay.
And he has the fur thing around him, which is a great fucking outfit. I love that outfit. There's also a version where if you buy it, you get the first 6 DLC characters right away.
Oh, nice.
Or not right away, but like,
as they come out.
As they come out.
The Season Pass Deluxe Edition thing.
Basically.
Yeah.
And so I'm very looking forward to it. I haven't bought a King of Fighters game in a while. I thought about buying the last one, but it came down to like my money.
Sure.
Like trying to figure out what I shouldn't get. So
I really enjoyed the last one. I really enjoyed playing the last one.
I'm really excited because I've always been a big fan of these games, and specifically because I've always been a big fan of Terry Bogard. So
yeah. Let's see. Monster Rancher is getting re-released on the Switch and the PC.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yep.
Which I think Chris once told me he really liked the first Monster Rancher.
Oh, there you go.
When it first came out, because he was telling me he was like, because back in the day, you could get more monsters with CDs and shit.
Yes.
And he was telling me about that. He's like I was scouring for these fucking things to get more of these monsters.
Yeah, apparently it was a thing where you could just put other games like music CDs in, and it would generate a monster based on information on those.
Yeah,
apparently
it was a huge fucking hit back then.
There's actually going to be like a bunch of virtual CDs that you can put in.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to have like a huge listing of different virtual CDs that you could put into.
I wonder if they'll ever re-release the anime, because around that time there was an anime that was out for it too.
Yeah,
because that's why it became popular here, is because they put they put the anime on Fox, and then they came out with the PS1 games here. So I was obsessed with the first one. I never got the second one because it was, we rented the first one a lot.
Well, it also something that's like what? It's like Harvest Moon and Pokemon kind of together.
Yeah, it was like a fusion of the two, and like the idea was just it was the kind of thing that got people to buy things.
Yeah,
and it helped a lot that it even helped people buy other things outside of their stuff. So it was very popular for that reason.
Cool. Let's see. Minecraft Dungeons is coming onto Steam finally in September.
Now you can punch things to death like Jeff on Steam.
I'm behind. There were like 2 DLCs that I didn't buy that came out. I did the first 2 or 3 of them, but I just didn't keep up with that.
I'm sure you could just punch your way through those.
I punch my way through everything. Nobody Saves the World has a release date, early 2022. So there you go. More early 2022.
I forgot about that game.
That's the Guacamelee devs, Drinkbox Studios, their new game. It's going to have co-op that you can play online as well. I am looking forward to it. It's not I don't like the art style. Kind of has that similar like flat characters on a flat perspective type of thing. But I really like Drinkbox Studios, so I'll give it a try.
It's worth a shot.
And if you have Little Nightmares, last in the updates, Little Nightmares got enhancements on the new consoles where you can turn on ray tracing and that kind of thing. So
now you can be scared with the ray tracing.
Yeah. Yep. Well, apparently it's one of those like ray tracing or 60 FPS things. So.
Oh, well, one or the other.
Take your pick. And then last but not least, we got some cool games looked at in a slightly different way. I found this. This was an article on Kotaku, but there's this. I really love this Fleur de YouTube channel, FLURDEH, and they do a few different things, but one of the things they do that's really striking is they do this thing where they like zoom out the camera. They stutter the frame rate and then shift the focus, and the end result is like a video game, but it looks like a little miniature diorama almost. So this is all cyberpunk, right? So it's various places in cyberpunk.
It reminds me of those Wes Anderson stop motion films.
Yeah.
Or movies that he makes.
Yep. It looks like little stop motion characters. But they do this for a lot of different things. They've got Skyrim, which I think is, we were just talking about Skyrim, where you can see like,
I like the name of the videos because it's like tiny whatever the game is.
Yeah. It's just really interesting to see stuff because you never see anything from these perspectives in these games because they're like first person games. And so having the camera kind of zoomed out, it also, you could take slightly lower detailed games and they look nice because of the kind of style that you're looking at. So it's pretty cool.
Because it turns it into this really interesting, like you said, diorama.
Shit, I didn't even see that, Michael, I didn't even see that.
What?
When they were like suggesting other videos to me, there's one. It was called Tiny Hitman. This is Tiny Hitman. Show me the Tiny Hitman. Show me Tiny Skyrim. Tiny Batman. Horizon Zero Dawn.
There it is. Tiny Hitman.
Tiny Hitman. Cool.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, that's the resort. I want to see some. I want to see like Sapienza. Yeah, Sapienza looks great.
Oh wow,
look at that. It looks like a tiny little model, right? Like somebody
looks great.
Hand painted a little model. Fleur de FLURDEH. Oh, that's what that was. This was in one of their montages, and I didn't know what that was because I've never seen that many things. That's Paris. Cool.
That's so fucking cool.
It looks really cool. Oh, that's so nifty. Yep. Anyway, sorry. I
recommend these. Yeah,
I can watch this.
You can watch these forever. There's something fascinating about the whole thing.
They also have another thing, like the other thing that I feel like they have is like they have another series called The Beauty of. So like they did one for no, YouTube, I will not answer one question for the Ascent, where it's not that same thing. It's basically just like disconnecting the camera and kind of doing like beauty shots of like the game world. Yeah, to just kind of like just look at, and it's like, oh, that's really cool looking. Because like in this game, it's interesting because the perspective on the Ascent is like a top-down third person, right? But they're kind of zooming in. I've actually seen a lot of stories about how like there's a level of detail in the Ascent that you don't normally even see from the perspective that you normally play the game. That you
I appreciate these because it shows how much work actually goes into these.
Yeah,
that you never really even think about.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really cool. I really recommend looking up this YouTube channel. I mean, it doesn't, it's YouTube, right? It doesn't cost anything. Flurd, Flurdeh. And then last but not least, I don't know, Michael, if you saw this.
I actually did see this.
The Simpsons Hit and Run. It was a really interesting video from Reubs, R-E-U-B-S.
Yeah, they took down the demo already that he did for this.
Yeah, it was basically like he took Simpsons Hit and Run, and then in a week he remade like the first mission in Unreal Engine 5 with like he used AI to up-res the textures. He used some models for the characters that he found online, and they did some like minor programming to animate and do some interaction stuff.
It's really nice looking.
Yeah, and then at the end, what you end up with is this kind of shaded Unreal Engine 5. Again, the person who this article talking about it made the really good point where it's like, well, imagine what like a team of developers with the rights to this game could do in a month, right? Could they just like fucking redo the entire game? I think that we're really seeing a game change with the level of automation that happens in Unreal Engine 5. And then the AI upscaling stuff, man. Like I feel
100%.
like running a whole texture pack through an AI upscaler really can lead to some fascinating results depending on what you're running through.
The thing is, with what he's shown, it shows how much you can remaster almost anything.
Yeah, and make it super sharp. Did you see last week? I talked with Tessa about there was that Digital Foundry video where they took the original MGS2 trailer from E3 and upscaled it to 4K.
I did not see that
because that literally doesn't exist anywhere. But there was like a DVD of it that was given out as a promo at trade shows, and so they ripped the 1080p thing and then they ran it through an AI upscaler to take the entire thing into 4K because it literally doesn't exist anywhere else.
I never even thought about that. That's kind of cool.
So. But yeah, this is impressive for a week's worth of work. Like,
yeah,
I really like what's going on with the automation of various different game tools.
It's one of those games that everyone constantly wants remastered. Constantly.
Yeah, I never played it. It was never my thing.
I never did either, to be honest. Like it came out at a time where I didn't have money.
Yeah,
and so by the time I had money, like I had stopped playing my PS2 ages ago for the kind of thing. Still easy to find though. For the most part, it's still like only like I think it's like $30 on eBay because they made a lot of them. Is the thing, but it's still popular enough that $30 is still pretty high.
It wasn't super difficult to get your hands on.
It was very popular at the time.
Yeah, it was. You could say it was the style at the time.
It was the style at the time.
I don't know if it's just because of Matt McMuscles, but I had never even gotten that thing in The Simpsons. And
it's become a meme, yeah.
Yeah, and then the older I get, the more I'm like, yep, that's it, all right.
It was the style at the time. I love saying it, though. It's a lot of fun to say. Especially, like you said, as you get older, you can talk about that, and you're like, that was the style at the time.
Yep. I tell you what.
That was the style at the time.
We're out of time, but let's do a really quick question. Here we go. Dan K. I'm sorry, this one kind of excludes you a little bit because it's a quest question, but even it excludes me a little bit too. So Dan K. says, hey, Rage, like you recently mentioned picking up the Quest 2. Any games that stand out for you so far? If you haven't, I would recommend giving the Room VR a shot. Keep on raging. Your patron, Dan K. That is not Tommy Wiseau. Did you see what the Room... no, let's talk about Spider-Man. Let's talk about Spider-Man for a minute.
I was the one who shared that meme, I think, actually, that you're thinking of. Yeah.
Dan, I haven't played it because I've been, this is weird to say out loud, but I just haven't been very physical. I've felt really run down just sleeping and recording and doing stuff.
It happens.
I've had some back problems recently, and I just every time I got Pistol Whip, which is a great. It's like super hot, but you shoot people.
Oh yeah.
And it's great. It's very physically demanding for me, and I'm older now, and I'm not in the best shape. So I want to get back to it. I need a new computer because I want to hook it up to a computer and run Half-Life Alyx. That's what I really want to do with it. Anyway, let's talk for 5 minutes about that Spider-Man trailer. I'm actually kind of excited. Like, I thought the idea was kind of silly, but then the idea of bringing all the Spoodermans together was like, to me, it felt like, oh, you've got no
gimmicky kind of thing,
right? Look how crazy it is. Like, you got to watch this, even though the last one sucked and this was made by the same people. But it occurred to me that I have to play by my own rules. I mean, I don't have to. I can do whatever the fuck I want to. But like, I should play by my own rules. Where like, hey, look. Here's a Spider-Man story that's not about Spider-Man having teenager problems. It's about Spider-Man having weird adult superhero problems because J. Jonah Jameson has outed him, and like everybody hates Spider-Man, and like, okay, that's legit. And what do? You go see your buddy Stephen Strange. That's also legit. I like that. Yeah. And then like, okay. And then of all the things that could have come out at the end of the trailer, by the way, this is the end of the podcast. So like oneofus.net, mail at Rage Select, like turn it off if you don't want spoilers. But like for all the things that could have come out, I thought it was going to be one of the other Spider-Men, but then fucking Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus. And I was like, oh shit, you guys know what you're doing a little bit here. Like I'm kind of into it. So
that's the thing is that like the trailer itself, I'm not like, because John had a kind of somewhat similar feel, was that like it's not as I wasn't super excited.
Yeah.
But the second Alfred, like this is the part I was excited about. John isn't too keen on it, but I was very excited the second he came out because I fucking love Dr. Octopus.
Right.
He is my favorite Spider-Man villain, and Alfred Molina is a great fucking Dr. Octopus. So the second he pops up and he's just like, hello, Peter, I'm like, oh, hello indeed.
And it's not like, well, and the thing is that it's like, you don't have to reestablish him in the MCU, right?
No,
you just drag him in, and we're all just like, "Oh, I know that guy."
Like, I know that guy, and then there's a pumpkin bomb and a fucking Willem Dafoe laugh.
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh,
is Willem Dafoe gonna
shit, guys? Like, you are bringing in the stuff I want."
Yeah,
because those are my two favorite Spider-Man villains. And I don't have to worry about them being like, oh, Tony Stark fucked my wife or something.
Right.
Like, they're going to have issues with fucking Spider-Man. And I'm cool with that.
I'm still trying to figure out I like the way in the trailer that these NYPD detectives are razzling Spider-Man over this fucking, Italian Mysterio fight where it's like, dude, do you even have jurisdiction in Italy? And also, like, do you guys not, like, Thanos has happened. Do we not have some laws that apply to, like, when people are trying to save the world from a spandex madman?
I read that, like, they're damage control.
Yeah.
The guys from the first movie.
Oh.
So that's why they're, like, talking to them or whatever.
Okay.
But, the thing is that they have to figure out, like, I don't know, like, it sucks for Peter because now he has to figure out what's going on. I'm curious as to whether or not it will stick is the thing. Like, will it actually be that, like, his identity is erased again? I read a theory that I would love to happen, but I doubt will happen, which is the idea that, like, what if this is a way of rebooting Peter down to the everyman part, where, like, now that maybe the spell does work, and now no one knows who he is at this point, and now he can't just ask people for help the way he did before.
Okay.
Kind of thing. I think that's a great idea, but I doubt they'll do it. But I don't know. Like, I'm just I'm interested because this is one of those things where I'm like, I don't know where it's going to go.
What I find interesting about the implication is that if we're actually bringing in Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus into the MCU, allow me to refer back to Quicksilver in the fucking WandaVision, like where they were all like tease, but like that was, it's not actually Quicksilver. Her whole power is about rewriting reality, but like we have an actor from another movie. We have an X-Man in the fucking MCU from a different movie, and now this is the second time we're seeing a guy from another movie, different franchise. I haven't been very excited about a lot of stuff. I'm very excited about other Marvel movie franchise characters. Like, is that how we're going to spice up the MCU? Is that like we're going to bring in Rhett Brown as the new Captain America, or Dolph Lundgren's Punisher?
That would be hysterical. Oh my god!
How many other horrible? Can we bring in the Fantastic? Not the Fan Four Stick. Bring in Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, and then everybody can just be like, you look a lot like Captain America, and I'd be like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
I'd be cool with that.
Or Deadpool. We could bring in Deadpool.
Well, that's already apparently going to be a thing because they asked Kevin Feige about it, about what Deadpool 3 is. He's like, well, he's the only one who's going to stay the same. We just got to figure out a way of like making him connect to the MCU,
right?
And I'm curious as to how that's going to work out.
But this does bring up there's a lot of interesting questions involved with the fact that the fucking guy from a 10-year-old Spider-Man movie made by Sam Raimi is now in the new Spider-Man movie coming out. Like,
I'm fucking fascinated about it.
That's weird.
But yeah,
we're just one step closer to that Patton Oswalt rant in Parks and Recreation.
Oh, absolutely.
Collapsing all of the different
That's
franchises.
actually the only thing that like I would if that's the only thing I would have liked if they didn't do this with Dr. Octopus. It was the idea of Patton Oswalt as Dr. Octopus. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
But he's already doing that MODOK show. But
I like that.
The memes that are coming out of this are fucking amazing, though. The memes are hysterical. I shared one of the memes that you were talking about, which is that it's Peter Parker as Tommy Wiseau,
right,
being like, "I did not kill Mysterio. I did not." And then when he sees Doctor Strange, he's like, "Oh, hi, Steven." And then it's fucking that line where he's like, "That's weird, but I'll allow it."
I like. Well, it's funny because we don't have anybody like kind of talking down to Peter Parker in the second movie because Tony Stark's not there anymore.
Yeah,
like I mean, as much as I really like the Tony Stark Spider-Man buddy thing like that happened, I really liked that part. I didn't like the second Spider-Man, or I didn't really like the first Spider-Man. The second
Spider-Man's okay. The second one has a lot of issues like that.
So much.
Like, it's fine at first, but then the more you think about it, the more you're like, wait, this movie's awful.
Yeah.
Not awful, but it's just not very good.
But the idea that Doctor Strange is there to just be like, I'm fucking Doctor Strange. Like,
it's okay, buddy. Let's hang out. My favorite meme is another one that I shared, which is just like, what if the idea that the landlord from the second and third movie shows up and he just keeps asking Peters for rent. And I just like the idea of that a lot. I do like the idea that we've got a Doctor Strange that is incredibly powerful but also incredibly irresponsible. Oh, 100%. It's just like, yeah, I'll rewrite reality for you, and then he's like, shut up. You're what? Stop it. A lot of people keep trying to bring up One More Day with it, but the thing is, Doctor Strange has done the spell for people before. Yeah. In fact, he did it for Peter Parker in the timeline that Mephisto changed, kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm sort of excited. I mean, like I said, I haven't liked the previous ones, but I don't like it when we go back to. I like this one because I feel like it's doing a thing that we don't get very often in Spider-Man movies, which is like, okay, we are past the origin, and we are past the fucking oh, I don't know if I want to be a hero or not. It's like, all right, and now we got a new problem, a problem that I haven't seen in a movie before. Everybody knows who Spider-Man is. What happens next? And it's like, I have not seen that in a fucking Spider-Man movie before. Like, hadn't happened. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, this is legitimately, I don't know where this is going to go. Yeah. I'm also curious as to if the designs of the villains that are returning are going to stay the same. Because Doc Ock's, that one makes sense to stay the same because there's not much you can do with it. But is the Goblin still going to look like a weird Power Ranger villain? Yes! Is fucking Electro still going to look super bright blue? We don't know yet. Oh, is Jamie Foxx Electro going to be in here? That would be rad. Anyway, all right, that's it. There you got an extra 10 minutes worth of us talking about Spider-Man. We put the Spider-Man at the end instead of at the beginning. We put the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure at the beginning instead of the end. Bizarre. As mentioned before, mailragesite.com. Go to one of us, listen more from Michael. I got to take my dog out, so we got to be done. We're done. That's it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.